What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another session of Who's the Deadbeat. Uh, First thing first, I'm about to pin the link in the comment section for whoever want to join. Okay, okay, all right. So, yeah, like I was saying, welcome, man. Welcome this evening, man. This is a platform where we allow people to come up and to share their stories about them, of course, being alienated, parental alienation, and being alienated from their kid. And we have a few disclaimers.
Hey y'all, what's up? So first of all, I just want to tell everybody, subscribe, like, share. We appreciate the support. We need that to get more people and more viewers so that our guests, can their stories can get out. We can raise awareness. Who's the Deadbeat is not liable or reliable for any litigations or court proceedings that you are currently in. And if there are some to follow, don't blame us. Keep it professional to a, a certain extent. Don't say any names. I mean, you're welcome to say how you feel. It is a safe space, but just be mindful. Don't say names. Yeah, and be respectful, and that's all that we ask. And that's pretty much it. I think we have a couple of people lined up, so we're gonna try to do it as smoothly and quickly as we possibly can.
And if we can't get to everybody, y'all just gonna have to be back on here. We go live every Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah.
So
bear with us, but
yeah.
we gonna go ahead and bring our first guest up so we can get it started. So let's do it. Work Plus, you up first. All the guests, bear with us, have some patience so that we can get through everybody. We want to get to all of y'all tonight. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't know, what plans you have, but just give us the floor so that we can allow everybody to tell their story. What's up?
What's
What's
going
up?
on,
What's
man?
up?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, yeah, we all good.
We doing
It's
well.
Friday, baby.
Yeah, amen to that.
Oh yeah.
It's been a long week.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So before we get started,
Where you from?
Well, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, but where I'm living at this moment is in it's right outside of San Antonio. So little
Okay.
okay, so
suburbs on the side of San Antonio.
you in Texas.
Yeah,
Okay.
Texas. Yeah,
Okay.
All right. And how many kids do you have?
I have 4 children. I have one boy and 3 girls.
And how many is being alienated?
One.
One. And so how many different baby mamas you got, as I should say?
Well, I have 2 baby mamas and I have one wife.
Okay. So it's of course it's one of the baby mamas because I know your wife ain't playing games with you.
Oh yeah, no,
Okay.
never that. But yes,
All right.
it's my son's mom, and he's actually with me at this moment. But he was in the past alienated, and I got him back. And then there was a time where I sped him up on his education, his skills, the things he needed from a traumatic situation that he experienced, and then me not being there originally, I gave him back to his mom so he can be in his mom's life. And then he was alienated again, and I posted a video on YouTube that tracked a lot of attention. And then she's been coming out like attacking my character, and just saying things were lies. And as times went on recently, I was giving out some of my proof to combat
Wait,
what she
wait,
put in the comments.
wait. Before you even get in, jump in, because we
Yes,
gotta
ma'am.
we gotta give it to the people so they can follow the story.
Yeah.
That was just
So
a quick summary. I'm sorry, real quick.
Okay.
I'm
that's
sorry.
Okay.
cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
We understand how I get.
It was a warm up.
yeah.
So your son, how old is he?
He's 15 now.
Okay, and so to give a quick summary of to go back in
Yes,
time.
ma'am.
With you and the mom, was that a relationship, situationship, marriage? What was the
Well,
case with that?
I met her when I was 13. She was 12 at Boys and Girls Club, and we told each other we was gonna marry each other. Well, I told her I was gonna marry her after we played 1-on-1 in the gym. Um, and so yeah, I was
So
in the
puppy
hooping.
love.
Yeah, it was puppy love, but I was serious though. I meant what I said. So,
Okay.
but she ended up leaving like 3 days later to Arizona, And so back in the day, you had to like call long distance, and the bills was racking up. So I was spending time talking to her for years, and she told me she was gonna have my first son. And when she finally came back, I mean, that's what happened. So
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 how old were you guys?
when we first conceived, I was 19, she was 18.
Okay.
okay, and so how long did the relationship last?
When she came into Arizona, actually, it's kind of a crazy story. She came back from Arizona, and she lied about a lot of stuff from her past, and so it was kind of rocky already. Because back in the day, people put music on your phones. I mean, like you play music, and she used to tell
Hmm.
me she can sing, so I believed it. It was just a lot of stuff. So when she was in Arizona, we were on Black Planet back then, talking to each other in
That was a
MySpace.
long
Yeah, a
time
long
ago.
time ago. So there was a lot
Man,
of
You telling our age without us
yeah,
asking
yeah.
how old you are.
A lot of
okay.
people don't know about Black Planet. I mean, you didn't have webcams, you didn't have pictures, so I had a picture, so I was kind of popular because of it. But I found out like while she was gone, I was the lover boy and I was single, and she was dating some guy. So when I found out about it, broke my heart.
And this is
Um,
at the time that you already have the baby. So how old is the
no,
baby
no,
at?
this is leading up to the moment how serious we were, and when
Okay.
she came back, we had issues because of it. So when I picked her up from the airport, she was already trying to fight some people, and I was like, "You just got here. It was kind of you're kind of reckless already." So I didn't plan on being with her after that anymore. So I plan on dropping her off, but my brothers was like, "You never did anything with her. You might as well do it." And that one night we did, and then that's when my son came to be. And
So
so it
So
was already
basically,
it was
she wasn't the same person once she that you once knew when
well,
y'all
she
was
never
younger.
was from jump. I just met her so fast at Boys and Girls Club, 13,
Okay,
12,
got you.
and I was
in
on the
long
phone.
distance, and then
Yeah, and she's telling me she's this and she's this and she's that. And then over time, I'm seeing this guy's page from Arizona because I was snooping. I'm a snooper, so I found the guy she was with, and he was like a gangster. And I'm like, okay, she's with this guy. I'm at school as a young boy. My heart broke. Seeing it. So when I tried it, when she came in town, I tried to stick to my word. Let's try to rekindle it. But when she came in, she was arguing and cussing. I'm like, oh, hold up, chill. Like I like to have fun right now. I'm 18 or 19, just out of high school. I want to enjoy my life.
so take
So,
us to the pregnancy. Y'all, she had the baby. Y'all was together. How long? How y'all break up? And how
so
y'all
how?
ended? Who ended it? And give us the short version because we got to get
Okay,
into the real
I
stuff.
got you. So, I ended up getting an issue with the city, with the police. The police had a police violence moment, helping the police out. One guy came over, attacked me, whatever, blew up. I never lost a fight to that moment. I was wanting to like take my life. So I decided to join the army because I had a son. So I was either going to take my life or take out an officer, just being honest with you. So me and her weren't on good terms because of our history. So I went over to her house and was like, can we be together? I want my son to be proud of me, become a soldier, don't take someone's life. So I set her up before I left because I left in 3 days. I set her up with my mom and them to live with in my mom's house, and I paid for a
How
car.
old was the baby at the time?
She was still pregnant,
Oh, okay.
so she was
But you
probably
did
about
see
like
him
three.
being
She was,
born, right?
huh?
You did see him being born, or you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
just
The,
you
the
were
army the
part of
army
the.
tried to for my basic training. They tried to extend it last minute, but I was like, y'all told me when I signed up I was going to see the birth of my son, and so
Okay.
I got to go back. I drew from Virginia to see him being born. Cut the umbilical cord. I was there for it, but when I set her up before I left, we were supposed to get married when I came back. But during halfway through basic training, she left, and my mom was just like, she left and she doesn't know why. So my mom hunted her down and found out she left because her cousin was getting beat on by her man, and she was supposed to protect her somehow. So when I came back, my baby was born, and when I found out the full story why she left, it was because I wrote my mom one letter because it was hard for me mentally in the army, basic training. I didn't write back, so I wrote one letter to my mom mainly because she was taking care of the bills. I was sending my money back to her because you can't spend nothing in basic training. So I'll send it
Right.
to her, and she took offense to it and thought I didn't care about her since I didn't write like a simple, I didn't think about her and my son and really drop, make a deep, heartfelt message to her, which I
I mean,
neglected.
but she was taken care of because you was helping your mom out with who she was
Right.
staying with.
Right.
True, but as I'm older with wisdom, if I can go back in time, I would have made myself write something to her mind and to the soul of my baby, because
Yeah.
her emotional state isn't important to my, to the baby and their
Yeah,
future. And I
that's
did,
true.
I did lack that. So when I came back, I said I still want to marry you, even though we kind of had got into it a little bit when I came back. And stuff came out when I went over to pick up my baby for the first time to take him, because she just got out the hospital. I wanted to show up in the city. I'm a
So hold on, you
soldier.
was gone for how long?
About 7 months, because I
So
had basic training in AIT. Basic,
so
you're
how
like a
long was
soldier.
it? How long was you back before the baby was born?
I literally got there probably about maybe 4 days before he was born.
Okay.
Okay, and before we move forward, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So get us to the point where, okay, because you did the stand up thing,
Yes.
you wanted to be a part of your son's life. How did this go so bad that you became alienated? And what age was he at the time that happened? Because I can tell already that it's a
Uh,
lot of drama. So I don't want to
yes.
spend too much time on your relationship. So get us to the
I
point.
got you. So the first time was just when I flew her down to Texas to marry her. Came out that she was going to marry me to divorce me, to take out my money and be with somebody else. And so when my mom exposed it, because the guy came over to her house and was showing her the messages as she was texting him, and she was
Mm.
forwarding it to me. She had her signature at the bottom of it with your name and your little phrase back in the day. So
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. So when I exposed her, she tried to deny it, dropped our son in my car and just got out, walked on the interstate, and then it just was
How
messy.
old is he at this time?
He's probably like a month or two.
So he's a newborn.
Yeah,
Still.
newborn.
So what you
No,
mean she
yeah,
dropped? What you mean she dropped him?
because he was in the back seat, because he was in the car seat, she was like still breastfeeding, and so when that happened, she just let him go and dropped him because she was like in shock, and so she got out the interstate and just walked straight, and I was freaked out, and I was like, "This is your son," and she just didn't care, and so later on, she was just trying to sleep with me to make me forgive her for everything that happened. So then I didn't know what to do, because I didn't know if that was my child, because she was telling the guy in the messages that was his baby. So when
Oh
I went,
wow.
Please
so
tell
when
us
I
you got a paternity test.
yeah, so I ended up sending her money months later. Everything blew up. Went to the army. No wife. No son. So I was going to JAG to get the DNA test, or to set up maybe custody and to get the DNA test done. But I sent her 150, and she ended up making a post the same day, said she bought some J's for 150. So when I seen that, I just broke in the JAG office and I walked away from the lawyer office, and I didn't pursue it because I felt like he might not be mine. And so I actually disappeared from him just because I didn't want to find out the news that he wasn't mine. And I was wrong for that. And so I became an alcoholic after that in the army, was like drinking myself under the table.
How old was you at this point in your?
I still was like 19.
Oh, okay. You was
This
still
is
young.
his first year of
Okay.
life that you're
Yeah.
doing all this.
And
So
and then she
go
sent him
ahead.
to Arizona after that when I was pretty much in the military, and got child support from me. She set it up when I was deployed because my name was on her birth certificate, and I couldn't represent myself at court because I was actually active duty at that time, deployed. So came back, seen a lot of stuff in war, lost my mind a little bit. It was questioning about good and evil, and was just wanting people to more get along, versus what I saw, and had a hard time adapting. And when I wanted to reach out to my son after he's probably about 4 years old about this time, and I really wasn't around at all. I'm not even gonna lie,
So
but
for 3 years, well, pretty much 4 years, you were absent.
yeah, but financially, I was giving my
You
mom
were
money
still
when I was,
paying child support.
yeah, child support,
So
but I was
did you
also,
could so did
but
you
I,
consider yourself a deadbeat?
well, no, because I gave when I saw him before I deployed, because he let me see him one more time before I deployed, and he looked like me. So I was like, that's it, that's my son. So I set her up to get money from my bank account, because you get BAH when you're overseas for combat hazard pay, separation pay, all that. So you get a lot of extra pay. So I was sending her money, not knowing I was on child support at that time. So I felt like I was doing a good job. But when I heard that, I did pull back and went cold. Like I didn't talk to her at all no more. I just let her get the child support and was like, when I get out, I'm gonna deal with it then. And so I waited till my 3.5 years was up in 2012, and then I went to go find her. My son was in Arizona the whole time living with her aunt, and he was calling when I first saw him at 5. He was calling her by her first name, me by my first name, and the aunt is mom. So I knew we failed him at that moment because
What?
I wasn't there or she wasn't there. And it was like, coming back, like, what did I do? I should have fought, you know. So my son was really getting raised by his auntie the first few years of his life, his auntie and his uncle.
Okay, so why was that? Why was he getting raised?
Right,
Um,
because
um,
she had them.
because you know, we only were intimate 3 times, and she used to always talk about that. She just referred to never me, you know, spinning the block again and taking it, you know, to the bedroom like that. And I always just avoided it because it was more about the family, the structure. I'm still hurting. I'm trying to, you know, I'm learning as I go. And I just didn't have that on the front forward of my mind. That was more of like her conversation with me, like, let's go do this. Let's go in the room real quick, just real quick. And I'm like, no, we need to do this. We need to do this. And we just couldn't, we were on the same page when it came to that. So I think that's why she sent him off, because it was more like, I want you versus truly him. I want him with you, but you know, that's what it felt like.
So even up to this point, I mean, for the viewers, if we asked you who's the deadbeat, who would you say?
I would say both of us personally, because I lack certain maturity, and I should have never been in this situation if I didn't know how to navigate it properly. Now that I'm older, I would do things differently, but I should have forced the DNA test. I was already in the Jack office, started it, and I just was a coward from the pain and the hurt, and I should have just endured it for the son's sake. Period. Just so he know and I know, and then we could have avoided everything. And if I would have knew, I would have fought. So she was there after when I came back. She was there because she had to bring him back because I wouldn't let it go. Like, where is he at? Where is he at? And then after that, I was just in his life. Like, he was all about me and him, and I was trying to figure out his flaws, which were my flaws, and now I got to work on my flaws to fix his flaws. So it was very vital for me to like get in school, teach myself how to read. I used to stutter real bad, and he had the same issue. So we just linked up and was like tight. And then we fell out again because her house got shot up, and there was a lot of rumors in the street on why it happened, because of my family lived next door to her, so they knew like her
So
habits.
he was living back with the mom at this point.
Yes. Oh, no. At this time, yeah, we were going back and forth. She was like the main
So did you guys go to court yet? Like, I know the child support order was
No.
in place, but it was no custody order in place at the time. So you were just basically winging it, right?
Yeah, we're winging
So
it because Nebraska, if you have a baby out of wedlock, it's 50-50 from jump.
In Nebraska, it is.
Yeah, in Nebraska, if you have a child, it's 50-50. Whoever the child with is just custodial. So it's never 100% to nobody unless you're married. Once you're married, you have to go to a family plan. The courts help you figure that out and establish it. But if you're single, hooking up, it's between each other, and people be fighting and snatching
until
kids.
people start alienating your kids, and then you still have to take them to court to get something established. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Even though you guys had 50-50, what was that relationship like between you and her? Because it was always drama filled from day one. So how were you navigating sharing your son and being co-parenting with her, or co-parent with her?
Well, we were cool for a minute because she would want to double back to our relationship. So if you flirt with that idea long enough, she'll be kind of cool. But if you don't give in to it all the way, she'll offer you gifts or whatever. So that allows me to see my son be
So
in his
you were
life.
basically just
Playing,
getting along, playing a game so that you could be a part of his life, like most
Yeah,
men do.
I'm gonna
playing
be
by her
honest.
rules.
Yeah. So I just, because he's very aggressive, and even if she's wrong, she's still aggressive, and it's just like, if you can't win, just try to go along with it to a point, but don't lose yourself as you go, and just pay attention. So that's what I did, and that's how I learned. But
But
a
what I'm
bit,
trying to figure out is how did she even? I mean, of course, she's the your son's mother, but how did
yes.
she have so much control when she wasn't even taking care of her
Right.
kid from the
He,
jump?
he was, in other
Well,
places.
because when I went back, when I finally came back and tried to get adjustments on my child support, because it was still set at the height of when I was deployed, 600, because my pay was higher, and it takes like like when they give you a new they give you child support, you got to wait like 9 months to adjust it. It's like there's like a time frame before you can
Yeah.
review it again. And so when I came back to the judge, it was like, here's my deployment papers, here's this. It was years later though, so I was still trying to plead my case years later, and they were just like, you should have communicated with us. And that's when I noticed I was too mentally in my head to think everything through. Like, even when that was going on, I should have reached out to child support years ago and at least brought stuff up, but I didn't until that last minute, so they didn't hear me out. But when we went to court, and because I finally got my son with me after that house shooting, I kept him with me. I went to court to adjust it because he lived with me for 2 years. I kept paying child support while I was working, and I was sending him to private school. But my wife said I had to stop. She's like, there's no way I'm gonna be married to you. You still paying this woman child support, and this boy is in my face right now. But I was doing it because when I paid it, she didn't mess with us. But once I started the process to stop it, she came out of nowhere and started hounding people, my church members, my dad's car. Like, it was popping up on events on us, trying to snatch my son because she knows whoever has a kid gets the benefits. So she didn't like that idea. So when I went to court, I was
Shout out
mad
to your wife, man.
Yeah.
Huh?
Shout out to your wife.
Before you get to the family court part, so I'm assuming your wife is the mother of the other 3 children you have?
No, because I have 3 baby mamas. I mean, 2 baby mamas and 1 wife. So I have a daughter with another
4
woman.
kids, right?
Yeah, I have 4 kids.
So in all of this, how was your wife in the picture? Did you have the other children yet? While we're talking about,
She was just she was pregnant. Well, she was pregnant with 1, and then she got pregnant again later.
Who did?
My wife.
Oh, so you have stepkids?
Huh?
I'm confused.
So we confused. Run us through the kids and the baby mamas, like the ages of your kids.
So my first child was with the one I'm talking about. My second one was when I came back from the military and me and her kind of blew up. I ended up having a kid around that time, and then later on I met my wife, and then we had a kid, and then a little longer in our marriage we had another kid because we've been married for like a long time now.
2 separate women and 2 by your wife. Okay, so the second child, you're good, no issues with the baby mama.
Yeah, no, we're cool.
Okay, so all right, that's for the viewers because you know they're gonna ask. Like,
yeah,
I don't think you was cheating on your wife, and he didn't.
No,
y'all didn't want to know. He didn't do that.
Yeah.
So back to her. She wasn't like alienating him because you were in a relationship. Like, when did the alienation start? When you stopped the child support? Is that when it all got even crazy?
It started when when I didn't marry her, when she came to Texas and everything got exposed. That's truly when it started because he wasn't always with her. Because it was like uncles is taking care of her. Grandma's taking care of my son.
Right. So you said he's bounced all over the place, but you were still you pretty much kind of inserted yourself back in, kind of smooth things over. Or did that not happen yet? Where you got him, the help he needed, and made yourself present. When did that happen? Was it after this?
Right after the military, I put in work. As soon as I seen him, it was me and him day one. At that point, around
how did she alienate you? If you said that you just bagged off,
right?
So did that cause you to bag off?
You said what?
Because you said you just bagged off and you didn't you was just absent.
No, I'm saying in the beginning, I was in the Army, I was in the military, and so I sent her the money to get the DNA test. She didn't do it, and then that's when I knew she wasn't trying to let me know if my son was mine or not because she wasn't trying to acknowledge that.
So that's when the games began.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
because she was pinning my son on another man.
Y'all was like deadbeats, but of course you redeemed yourself, right? And
yes, ma'am.
Done up until this point. But that's what we're trying to get. Like, did you have to go to court? Like, what after your wife told you no child support? Take us from that point to now. Like, what has been happening?
Yes, so I went to family court to get that dropped, and then I tried to serve her. Well, I dropped some serving papers at her house because I found where she lived at secretly. And I didn't know how you serve right, so I just put it in her mailbox, bounced off with some custody paperwork. So when I got the child support, when I went to child support custody hearing, I tried to pin them together at the end of the hearing, but they didn't allow me to do it because they said you got to, actually hand it to her, and she said she didn't ever get the paper. So at that moment, the way the judge handled the case, I got off of child support 2 weeks later because I won it, but he gave her 2 weeks of an extension period because she was like bringing up these false allegations and said she had proof. And when I just saw the judge, because I had no representation, it was just me with a folder with a bunch of proof. She had just stories and stories, and you get a public defender if you go down to the government office, you need help. If you get them first, you can't get assistance. So I couldn't get it. And they had a lawyer, but I still won with my proof. She made allegations enough to where the judge would listen to, and I thought that wasn't, she never did that. So that scared me from the court, realizing the way he disrespected me, and I didn't say nothing to him except for just, hey, raise my hand, let me give you the paper. I was scared of the courts after that because I seen from that situation, and then my young youth, when I was attacked by the cops, how they spun the story, I just was like afraid of the courts. Like, if I go in there and I'm black, no disrespect to the world, I'm black, I go in there, it doesn't favor me. So I'd rather just
So
try to. Hmm?
you just stop pursuing
At
custody,
least,
or
least custody. I stopped doing that in the courtroom, but I still was trying to be my son's life. Period. Like outside in the streets.
So at this point, you still had your son was still living with you and your wife at this time, right?
Yes, he was still with me. Yes.
Okay, so take us to the point now is when she got the son back.
So when my son was in private school, there was a little moment he was, still messing up from some shooting he witnessed with his mom. He was kind of acting up. So I made him go to my aunt or my sister's house, took some dog poop, and then I made him go do some push-ups. So he kind of rebelled and was like, I want to go to my mom. And since he said it after so much time and by, I said, I'm not gonna lie to my son. I'm gonna see if he feels that same way tomorrow. He woke up, I asked him, he said, I want to go to my mom. Reached out to his mom, smoothed things over out the blue. She was already happy about it and brung him back. And then after that, we made a plan to switch off 2 years. You have him like solidly, he can still see me 2 years with you. Because I had him for 2 years straight to build into it.
well, why would you make the decision to give him back to somebody who basically has, not to say that he doesn't need his mom, because we do understand that kids need
Yes.
both parents, but make us understand what was it for you that you just decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to give him up, when you know that what he had been through and experienced when he was in her possession. Like, why would you put him
the
back to do
community
that?
the community of people, societies, like he needs his mom. What I've kind of witnessed as a kid is just my just the culture I grew up in, the environment made me be like, okay, no matter what, try to make this work, make it happen, and be that guy. And I didn't want
Was
my
that
son.
was that a good idea?
No, looking back, no. Like, if I can go back, I would have put my foot down then versus how I've been doing it now. But I at least wanted to do right because I know God's real and I don't want to go in the afterlife knowing that I really try to hinder something like that with my actions. And I'm being honest because I was super spiritual coming back from the military. And so I'm reading the Bible first time and I'm trying to be like, the
You were
best
trying to
Christian.
be fair. Like,
Yes.
it's a gift and a curse, and it's
Yeah.
bittersweet because we respect you and your transparency, and we get it, right? You want to work with your kid and give them the best possible chance, and so if him wanting to be back with his mom seemed like the best thing to do at the time, that's what you would do. But what we realized later on is that it only traumatizes them more, or it only
Yes.
puts them in a worse situation that, of course, now in hindsight. But I just want to ask you, I know the viewers are going to want to know, if you dealt with all this craziness up to this point, and just from off one request, I want to go with my mom, why would you pretty much just throw him back to the wolves? Because you're talking about violence, shooting, harm, from the time he was even born. She just doesn't seem to be making, good choices towards him.
Yeah, her
And
auntie,
so,
the auntie
yeah,
raised
other
them.
people raising them, like, why? And so that's why we want to know what that looked like. But just get us to where we are today. Like, did you ever go to court? Did you ever get a custody order?
No, I didn't. What happened was when the 2 year mark happened, he's older now. She said she kept ignoring the question and was just asking for money. Gave her some money for a while. Once I realized it was all about money, I started trying to communicate with my son more because he would always call me telling me stuff, but he couldn't express it properly, like abuse and things that was happening with her boyfriend hitting on him and stuff like that.
But hold
So
on, not to cut you off, but you already knew it was about money because you said she, was trying to take him in. Once she realized the system was off. So
it's because when I gave him back, she was talking about God, the shooting, the light. She's changing. She's in school. She did get a bachelor's. So I was seeing some stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to.
okay,
I'm trying to be the Christian. I don't want to hold over her head. She's forgiven.
okay.
Let that happen. And I saw it in my dream one night, so I took it as a sign too. So I was like, okay, let me do that because I don't want to get cursed. So that's
So,
how
to
I.
any man that's watching right now that would do what is doing what you've done, what would you say to them?
I would say from jump, soon as you see a red flag, go for it, get 100%, and then if you feel like you're the better fit person, do right thing because you have the 100%, you have the government backing you up, you have the law backing you up. You'll have less headaches, and you can still be the good man. If she acts crazy, the police will be there in a heartbeat on your side, and whatever they say, they'll just throw it out the window. So I would just step on their neck and just don't give up, because my son has been hurt so much since then, and now I have to go back to where I last dropped him off at and rebuild him back up to be the person we had him on track for way back then, because he stopped growing since he left me. So I hurt him. He lost time. So
you said you start talking to him, and he's still talking about the shooting and all the trauma.
How did you get him back?
Eventually, one of my brothers, he was hanging at my brother's house. He was like, "Hey man, your son talking about running away," which he said before he was gonna do it, but he broke his leg, and I was gonna go get him then. But he broke his leg, so I didn't want to come move him out of a situation with his leg broke. So I
Now,
waited.
was that because of the boyfriend? Because you said you just mentioned something about the boyfriend fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that he just did like punching. He didn't break him or nothing like that, any bones. But my son
He
got in a
punched your son?
Yeah, he punched him in the arm. And I called his mom, but his mom used to have him on speakerphone talking to me. So I wouldn't be able to like straight up conversation. So it was like a control. So she watched what he's saying, and then she was like telling him he's a liar, and it didn't happen that way, and that she was there, and he barely tapped him in the arm like a playful hit. And I was
So
like,
how did that make you feel at that moment?
well, at that moment, I was pissed, but I'm like, my son isn't expressing himself properly enough to like give me all the information. It's kind of broken, but then she's more clearer, so I'm kind of like, but I documented everything. I took screenshots of screenshots. I got proof of a lot of stuff over the time, and then once it hit a pivotal point, my son got a girlfriend and was getting F's in school again, just was messing up. I just got in my car and just went up there, told him I was here. He came out to school, got in the car, took him back, and I've been working with him, getting him back on point. And she's now attacking my character, trying to come after me.
How long has it been since you had him back?
About a year. It's about to be a year in November. November, I think 30th.
So she's acting out again.
Yes.
Because he's back with you, but she hasn't went to court either?
No, because she knows she doesn't have a real leg to stand on, because there's been like proof of police reports of her acting crazy, say she got full custody. Because she used to like use the cops and be like, I got full custody. So they be like, no, in the state of Nebraska, it's 50-50. Whoever he's with is who he's with. So she'll get irate and they'll turn and be like, take the police report number down. You're going to need this. And I just documented it and kept it. And they keep that on file forever. So I have that. I have like church's statements. I also have school statements for when she was going a little rampant. So she doesn't have anything on me like that, because when I got out the army, I was about my life, trying to, fix my life and get my son's life. So
what are some of the things that she's doing now? Like, I know your wife is fed up, like,
yes,
to hear.
definitely.
She's very peaceful though.
Like,
my wife has been like my rock in this, because she's calming, but she'll give you that stern look like, hey, you better handle this. Like, yeah.
Now.
Yeah. So
well, I'm glad your wife do that. My wife won't do that. She's like, hey, mother. No, I'm just saying.
But so they're getting on like platforms, and they're trying to tell people that I've taken someone's life. I've killed someone.
On the live. You gotta say on the live.
Huh?
You gotta say
on the live.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Unalive.
So they're saying that you've done that to
someone.
Okay.
Unalive, and that I told my son that she was unalive, and that I said he has no sisters. They're all unalive, and
what?
And she's telling your son this.
Well, she's telling her family members. She's telling her family members this in the community, and it is making them think that I might have took someone's life. And if she tried to connect me to that, or connect me to that, I can bring gang members and drama towards me and my son, because he looks just like me. And I'm trying to tell her to calm down with that, because it's bigger than this. And my son doesn't want to come with you. You can't force him with lies and deceit, because he's seen my receipts and he experienced his own life. So just come clean and be honest, and stop trying to destroy everything in the process.
Well, can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
It's never gonna happen. So don't even look for it, man. If you doing something positive with your kid, you just focus on that and keep doing it. You can't reason with crazy, man. It's gonna always be drama. It's never gonna be right. Even when you times when you think it's okay, like you have in the past, it's just always gonna be drama.
And this is tough because typically when you go from being alienated to having the authority to have the kid in your possession and you know that the other parent is not a good parent, you
Yes.
almost become an alienated yourself, right?
Yes.
So it's tough for us to speak to people and encourage them to facilitate and foster a healthy relationship between their kid and the other parent when it's stuff like this going on. And so this is why we say to you, you have to take action in a way. Yes, you can be protective, right? Protect you, your wife, your family, your kid. But at some point, you still cannot choose for him. You have to allow him. And even if he's saying he doesn't want to go, it's still his mom. So she's still 50% his parent. If it's not life threatening, it's still your responsibility to try to make sure that he gets to a certain age where he can really say no.
Yes.
15 isn't that age, unfortunately. And so I don't know where you are with it. That's just my takeaway, my 2 cents. And people may disagree with me. I don't care because we live this life every day. Um, so we just want to know, what is it that you wanted to share? Like, would you have done something different, or like, what's your end goal with this? Because this stuff is a long term battle. It doesn't, with all the
Yes.
trauma, you're with him every day. You know what his struggles are. What's the end goal? What would you like? What would, for a perfect world, what would that be for y'all?
Be honest. So for me, I wish me and his mom would just be able to sit down with him and acknowledge his pain and his hurt. Give him the floor to just share, even if it's hurtful. Just let him have the opportunity, because I don't want the enemy on the inside to mess with his mind, and down the road it comes back to haunt them, and then pour over to my grandkids and the grandkids. I just want to break the curse. So that's what I want. So the door's not closed for her, but I need her to understand that he's broken and we have to heal him, and we can't deny what he's seen and what he's been through, because that's gonna maybe make him an alcoholic, and I rebuke that. I don't want that.
It'll
So
cause
that,
resentment for
yeah,
sure.
and that's why I
Yeah.
never closed the door ever. That's why I didn't want the courts, because sometimes I thought the courts was gonna force it. I mean, maybe like, hey, you can't even bring it. Don't do it again because she's acting crazy. We're tired of it. I didn't want that type of crazy control, because what if we mature enough one day be like, we know how to parent, but there's
You
still
can
like
you can
no.
no, you can always go back and change it.
Right, you can. You gotta give y'all a chance,
Yes.
because this craziness been going on for 15 years. I mean, do you want it to be another 5, 10 years? Like, that's the
Mm.
way to look at it. You went to court, and I heard you say at one point you were scared. I don't think you still feel that way. I just think that the way that you're trying to do it is risky.
Yes.
It's just too risky.
It can cause conflict, and it could cause somebody to possibly get hurt, because when you're dealing with people like this, man, you thinking logic, but they not. They only thinking about hurting you and whoever's
And it's
in
not
the
fair.
situation.
The harassment isn't fair. Like, how is that healthy for him,
Yes.
right? And so, man,
I
it's
wish
tough.
you would have got an order, man, though, because
What
this
was it? That
situation.
that that's the next step from here. So that's what I'm trying to do. But it was
Okay,
just,
well, that's good. That's good to know.
it just I do got to look into it, because the last time I kind of did some research, I believe they were telling us they wanted us back in the same state to do it, since we're both out of state. We're both in different places. So
So do you have the kid?
yeah, my
He's
son's
with
with
him
me.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in the state that you live in? San
Um,
Antonio, Texas.
I think since 2019, but I left for a minute and went to Odessa, because I'm a truck driver, and I was in the oil field before COVID hit.
But
It might be in your best
it's
interest to
to
fight
foul,
here
fight to foul
in
here.
Texas.
If you've been in a resident longer than 6 months, then
That's y'all
that's
residence.
your resident of the
Okay.
kid now, because there's no.
Because there's no order. Jurisdiction is not there. I
Oh,
mean,
okay, okay,
maybe,
okay.
I don't know if child support is separate in the state of Nebraska, but
Yeah,
But that one's
you
over. That one's over. I paid all my child support off. So
okay.
that,
So
yeah,
that's not even an active order.
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So you
Yeah.
foul.
So
You only gotta do is open
you
up a
may
case
want to
here,
look into it. Just
because you
Okay.
have them.
Yes.
So you might want to just go down there, file, or I mean, I don't know if you want her on child support or whatever it is, because I
I
can't
mean,
tell you what.
when she blew up recently, I ain't like it crept up in my spirit, but I don't like the whole system personally. For me, I would rather be mature and not be doing that. Like
I
whatever's
mean,
yours.
that's all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
all of us.
so I just want the custody, but then I'm down to do 50-50 just between me and her. But right now, I don't want to deal with this, but I'm still focused on his healing because, she's reaching out, being deceptive after he's opened up to me and told me everything. And it's like, you got to eventually acknowledge what he's been through. And he showed me proof of some of the stuff. Like he has stuff on his phone.
All I'm gonna say before
Yes.
we let you go, because we got to wrap it up.
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot heal in a place that keeps making you sick. That's it.
Gotta cut them ties,
It's
man.
it's and I feel you spiritually, like wholeheartedly. You want the absolute best for your kid. We all do. And so, with that being said, we respect your angle, but you just gotta know that with that, you don't want to fall back into the same. You try and then it slaps you in the face, if you know what I'm saying, because you've had a lot of that going on too. So
So
Yeah,
her family's trying to get me to talk to them, reach out to all of them. Should I just avoid it, not even get on the phone with them?
talk to them for what? They should be trying to talk to him, to
That's how
their
yeah, that's
relatives.
yeah.
I mean, and in a good way if they want to have a relationship with
yeah,
him.
because all that, yeah,
Yeah,
your dad took you from us and
yeah.
just saying all this
They
slick
they
stuff.
alienate too. They become deadbeats as
You
well.
all, she's saying all this bad stuff about you. No,
I mean, I
I
wouldn't encourage
I
that.
would let the courts handle it, and then I would do parallel parenting.
Do you know what that
Okay.
is?
You know what parallel
I haven't
parenting
heard of
is?
that legal term.
Parallel parenting is pretty much you go through the courts, do it. You get an app or something. Anything time you want to communicate her, it's through that app. That app can be
Oh,
used.
okay.
That app can
Like
be
what
used in
she
the
do
court of
is
the.
what she do. What you do is
And
what you
then
do.
yeah, and what she do over there with her time is what she do, and what you do is what you do.
You said you
You don't
said
have
you
to. You
said
don't have to
parallel.
communicate anything with her
Yeah.
unless your son or something going to the doctor or something. But the thing that I'm trying to make here is that your son is 15. So in 3 years, technically, he's gonna be out of
Right,
that
he's
time
gonna be
frame.
out of that time frame. He's gonna be making his own decisions. So, I mean, as
I
a
definitely
from a
wanted this to
healthy
be a
standpoint,
testimony. I wanted this to be a testimony for people. Just don't follow where I went with this. I thought it was logical, smart. It was the benefit of the black family, the nucleus. I'm tired of broken homes. And I thought it was the right thing to do, but it didn't work out. And I want to tell people I'm your future. If you're on this road, I'm your future. And this is a warning. Turn back and just go straight to the courthouse and just save all that hurt.
thank
Yeah.
you, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you for joining us. For everybody that's watching, um, listen to him because he's the one that's been through it. Thank you for sharing your story and keep us posted.
I
Reach back
will.
out to us. We want to know how your son doing. I know he's been through a lot, but it's a long road
Try,
ahead to healing, and we want to support you guys as best we can. So thank you
Okay.
for joining us
and
tonight.
try to get him some therapy too, man.
Yes, we've gotten them there before, but we'll,
Okay.
we'll,
Oh
we'll
yeah.
revisit again.
Yeah. All right, man. Much love to y'all, man.
Thank you
Blessings to
so
y'all.
much.
All
Thank
right.
you for sharing.
All right, y'all have a
Enjoy
Have a
good.
your
good night.
night. Bye.
Y'all heard him. This is coming from the horse's mouth, whether y'all want to take heed to it or not. But we gonna who we got up next?
Who we got next?
In their best interest. You up next, and then Reynolds is it
No,
Ronaldo?
yeah, Ronaldo
Okay,
first.
in their best interest, we gonna talk to Ronaldo, and then we coming straight to you. Okay, so bear with us. Thank you.
Ronaldo, you gotta cut your camera on, door. You got all right, there we go. All right, here we go.
Am I on?
Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it
Hi.
going, man?
How
Hi.
are you?
Everything's going good.
Let
I'm
the people
thankful.
know where you calling us from.
I'm from Southern California.
Okay.
Okay. How many kids?
I have two kids. Two kids and two different baby mamas.
How many been alienated?
Just the one. Just my
How old?
daughter. She's 3.
Okay. The
She's
relationship with you and that mom, was it a relationship, situationship,
It was a
marriage?
relationship. We were together for about 8 years.
Mm.
Um She broke up with me. We moved into the home that I'm living in now. And I made the mistake of putting her on the title because they said my credit wasn't good enough. Even though I knew that wasn't true, I have great credit. I put her on the title, so we've she technically does own this home as well. We moved in March of 2022. We broke up November of 2022.
So I'm assuming your first child is older
He's
than.
13. Yes, he's 13.
Okay.
And
Okay.
me and his mother have a great relationship. Never
Okay.
Okay.
never even touched the inside of a courtroom.
So
Everything was worked out in an adult manner, and I have him about 90% of the time.
good
Okay.
to hear. So this is all new to you. Like why?
Definitely new. This is all new to me. Um,
So why did she break up with you? Take us through
she broke up with
briefly
me.
take us through that.
She broke up with me just because I'm probably the only person in her life that's ever held her accountable for anything.
Mm.
If she lied about something, if she did something wrong, I held her accountable, and she didn't like that. And it just, she treated my son very poorly. He does not like her. She does not like him. And it just kind of festered, just years and
A
years.
3 year old?
No, my 13-year-old, my son.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
okay. So
Yeah,
Oh,
got you. So
yeah,
as a step or bonus
mhm,
mom, she did the relationship between you and her and your other child was a bad one,
yeah,
just because of the
yeah,
way she was acting.
yeah.
So when did she start alienating your baby from you?
It started. Okay, so we broke up in 2020 November. Um, I um, I started seeing someone else.
so you
Uh,
cheated?
I wasn't cheating because we were broken up. We
Oh,
just were
okay.
living together. We
I
we
bet you if we talked to her, she'd say something
Y'all was
different.
still together.
Of course, yeah, of course. I waited about 10 months.
Okay.
But y'all
I
was
did.
still living together.
We were still living together. I did let her know. I was honest and open with her. I am seeing someone else. And that's kind of where everything shifted. Once she found out, once I told her that I was seeing someone else, that I was, with someone else, that's when everything shifted. So there was a altercation between her and I June 15th, the day before Father's Day. She called the cops. Cops came out, nothing happened. They made a police report. She elected to leave, and she never came back home. So it started there. She kept my daughter from me for about a week and a half before I was able to actually see her.
How did she do that?
Well, I had no idea where she was staying. I didn't know where she
Oh,
was
so it was
living.
no contact at
There was
all.
no contact at all. I would text, I would call.
Mm.
She did FaceTime me the next day on Father's Day for my daughter to for us to kind of talk. But that was it. That was it. That there was
So
no,
in your opinion, who's the deadbeat?
she is.
Okay.
She
So we're gonna get right into it. So
Yeah.
when this happened with Father's Day, was this year or previous
This
year?
was this year. This was this year. This was
So
this year.
other than her, leaving, you not knowing anything, like where are we are today? Because that's only been what, like about 5 months
So
ago or something like that.
we were as the kind of weeks went on and the months went on. Um, she was allowing me to see her on the weekends, every other weekend, or there were times where she would come drop her off if she was working or something, so I was able to see her. And then I thought things were going fine. I mean, I know things weren't great. I did understand that at some point we were going to have to go to court. We were going to have to figure out a custody agreement. Um, but she went a different route in September. On September 6th, she filed a domestic violence temporary restraining order against me. Uh,
Why?
I d- I
What
don't
did
know.
you do?
I didn't do anything. The cops were called. They didn't do anything. Nobody was arrested. She wanted to leave. She left. That was it.
So was that what was in the affidavit?
So she had wrote a statement about that night, um, and I have the police report versus the statement she wrote to the court. They're two completely different statements. Um, she didn't tell any of the cops, or she never told the police anything about what she said in the court document. She said that I picked her up, that I put my hands on her, that I was hitting her, and I never did any of that. I've never touched her.
That
Um,
was probably a play to get you out the house.
exactly, exactly. And I did send you a message about that, because she is on the title. So with that, of course, there was a restraining order
Right.
against
Because
not only
yeah.
her but my daughter, and there was a move out order. So when they served me the papers, when I got served, I had to get my stuff and leave. Me and my 13-year-old were essentially put out on the street.
Wow.
Um, were essentially put out on the street, and she was allowed to come back here.
And this was in September.
This was September 24th is the day I got served. She filed September 6th. And during that time, from September 6th to September 24th, she was allowing me to see my daughter. She was dropping my daughter off to me. I was picking up our daughter
With an active protective order.
with an active restraining order against me that I had no idea was in place. I had no idea that was even that she had even done that. And she
So
was
wait, was it a restraining order or order of protection? Because you know they're kind
it
of
was
different
a
in most states.
it was a
Um.
temporary restraining order, until
Okay.
the court hearing. The court hearing was October 2nd.
Okay.
Um,
So she was violating it herself,
she was
right?
violating it herself. She was calling, she was texting me, she was
What?
coming by. She brought she because she has two kids from another relationship. She was bringing them here. They were getting
What?
off the car and coming in and saying hi to me,
So it
and
was strictly just to get you out the house.
it was strictly just to get me out the house. That was her whole plan. And not only that, but she put in the court document that she wanted me to pay the mortgage while I was being restrained, and while she was living here, essentially for free.
So fast forward a little bit, because I mean that was just last month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So how did you get back in the home?
So we went to court. I got a lawyer, of course. There was no way I was going into this without a lawyer.
Great move.
And my lawyer did all the work. We went to court October 2nd. I thought they were going to at least say something about the custody, but they didn't. They really focused on the restraining order and
No,
her,
two different things.
yeah,
Yeah.
her claims of domestic violence. And honestly, she made herself look stupid in court. The judge saw right through it, and he denied the restraining order and told her and me that I was allowed to come back home immediately.
Good for
So
you.
she's been living in her apartment. She got an apartment, and she's been staying there. So during that time, I didn't see my daughter for 15 days. That's the longest I've ever been away from her. Um, I'm not a dad that I'm not a weekend dad. I am a full, active, loving father. I'm involved in my kids' lives,
Sure. Sure.
and and it was hard. It was hard. I was scared. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I reached out to you. I know you guys do this type of stuff, and I just wanted to know if there was any information or anything, um, for people that been through it, because I've never been through it. I've never had to do that. I've never had to go to court or anything like that. And I was just so caught off guard with everything, because I again I thought I knew we had stuff to work on, but I had no
No
idea
idea.
that I was going to be
Yeah,
blindsided.
she was bitter, man. You
And then
moved
you
on.
moved on with somebody else, so that really was unexpected, right? Maybe she wanted a different outcome and didn't go and work in her favor, and so this is why they weaponize the system. They weaponize kids. Um, but for you, you said that you found us, and I mean, so far with where you are today, has that helped you any, or like, what is your next steps? Because if she's played this game, then I can only predict what the future will be like.
Yeah, it's been rough. She's made it very difficult to kind of see my daughter. Um, I've had some days with her, which I'm thankful for, but I just need information on where to go now, because my lawyer told me as long as she can claim that this is her residence, I can't go file for a custody agreement. We can't go to mediation, because all she's going to say is we still live in the same house. So I don't know what to do at this point. Um,
Wow.
Mm. So
because they're going to see, like, okay, well, you both still are at this address, so we can't, like, there's no point in making a visitation order because you both live in the same house. And I think that's the last card that she's going to play, because she doesn't want to move back. It's got nothing to do with that. She wants to move back, but not have me here, and that's just not going to happen.
Um, well,
Is it any communication with y'all?
Very little. She. I mean, we FaceTime to kind of talk to our daughter. I FaceTime, her the iPad or her
Is she
laptop.
doing anything to try to destroy your relationship with the daughter? Like telling her certain things about you?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past her. I know she tells her other kids things about me because her youngest son Jackson, I was texting him and he straight up told me, he said my mom says I can't text you anymore, and I said why, and he's like I don't know why, but she gets mad if I text you. And I said, I'm sorry, bud. Like, I don't want to get you in trouble. And he said, well, that's the thing is, I still want to text you. Like, I still love you, Ray. Like,
yeah,
I've been in his life since he was a year old. Like, I've known that kid since,
Man,
he was
that's
a year
tough.
old. And, so I know she tells them things about me. And I,
It's a. Did you get a paternity test?
I haven't, but I mean, my daughter, I mean, she looks just like me. There's no way I could deny her.
But you have to because y'all wasn't
Yeah.
married.
right.
Yeah.
That will probably just help your case.
Okay.
But why are you considering selling your property? I mean, we know
I,
we don't have to get into the just of economics right
I
now, right?
I am
But
considering. I think it's just it's a way for us to kind of just cut our losses and go our separate ways. Because
yeah,
this,
that's your
as,
only option,
as,
unfortunately.
yeah, aside from our daughter, like this kind of ties us together, and I really don't want any
Ties,
financial ties to her
especially
at
not
all.
property.
Yeah,
Yeah, it can get bad
No, it's almost like you
fast.
guys are married without a marriage license.
absolutely.
So
So
you have to file for divorce, and in a divorce, wouldn't they make you sell the property?
They make you sell the house and
So
split.
that's the way you have to approach the situation if you want to move forward with stopping her from alienating you from your child.
and you
Yeah,
say you in California, right?
I'm in Southern California. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Cali is a tough state.
It's tough.
I mean, we hear a lot of cries from Cali, and it's a lot of times we don't have the answers because this stuff is not a one size fit all. Like we
Correct.
yeah,
try to be encouraging, and of course we're here to give the moral support, right? We're not attorneys. We don't give legal advice, so it's limited what we can share because we're in a totally different state,
yeah,
right? But common sense, even though it's not so common, that's what we like to give. And so, in order to move forward, that house it has to go.
Yeah, and
Your daughter is worth much more than whatever the ties is for you to that property. Minus her, right? You just put her
yeah.
on the title, but I'm saying you can always get another property. You're not gonna get this missed time back with your child.
Absolutely, I agree 1,000%.
yeah, I feel like, man, you need to go get that test done, and
That's just part of the process. So
Yeah,
even if you know that's your baby and
the
she
court the
is,
court's still gonna make you do it
right,
anyway.
it's part of the process.
And
okay,
then I will also tell you this: whoever filed first get the upper hand
okay.
because you the one that's suing. So you want to keep that in mind too. I mean, I'm not a attorney. I'm just speaking off personal experience, man. So you might want to act fast when it comes to this situation because
And is she even considering selling, too? Because I know she can make that part difficult as well.
Yes, she does want to sell.
Okay.
That is one thing that she's pushed for a while, is that she's wanted to sell. I'm the one that kind of didn't want to sell because, I mean, honestly, I worked so hard to get this
I
house.
mean, I understand. Like
Yeah,
it's a no brainer, right? This stuff does not take rocket science. Nobody wants to go through all of this just to see their kid, right?
yeah,
But that's just it's life, right? I don't mean to sound callous. I know we got viewers that may be experiencing the same thing, but I just like to be we straight shooters. Like I like to, and I'm not talking about pew pews, YouTube, but I like to be clear when we're giving you this advice because as time is going past, your baby is only getting older.
hmm,
And you'll sit on it. We did it. People do it. And you look up and now she's 10. And you went through all the things you could have prevented had you taken that action. And so Just cut your losses. You got that house, you'll get another one.
So what you think her motive is behind this?
I think her motive was she wanted this house. She wanted me gone, and she doesn't want me in our daughter's life. She doesn't want. She had a very horrible relationship with her real dad, and then her stepdad treated her like, you know, you know what?
What, what about her kids? Where is their father? Is he in their life?
I think they have a custody agreement 85-15. He's he's always been a very respectful guy. Anytime he's picked the kids up at the house, I've never had any issues with him. But she used to tell me so many bad stories about him, about what a terrible guy he was, and he's not like that at all.
Yeah.
He's nothing like she described.
So
Yeah.
do you believe her now?
No, 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 no. And honestly, I never kind of really did, because I had never met him before. I never, I kind of just listened to her because I could tell that there was some hurt and there was some resentment there. So I would listen to her, but after meeting him, I know she wasn't telling the truth at all, and he honestly is a really nice guy. The only thing I do have a knock on him though is he kind of started his own family. He's got three different. He's got he's married. He's got his three kids, and he's got these two sons who are wonderful, and they need more than just 15% with their dad. They
Yeah,
need
he he
50%.
he dodged the bullet getting away from her, but unfortunately, the court system and just having to go through custody battles, somebody's gonna get the short end of the stick.
Mhm.
Always.
And so men typically do, right?
Yeah,
But in your case, I know that that's probably scary, but it's better than nothing.
yeah.
It's better than nothing.
So how did your girlfriend? What did she think about this situation?
It's caused a really big issue in our relationship. She wasn't happy about any of it. You know, um,
Because the reason I'm asking because
Are you guys still together?
kind of, somewhat.
yeah, because you was staying with her when you was dating her. Like, did she know about that at the
Yeah.
time?
Oh, yeah. She knew about
Okay.
everything. I was honest and open, everything with her.
So what
Uh,
is she? What advice is she giving you? Or like,
she's,
what is her angle from this?
she gave me some.
Ultimatums.
She no, there were no ultimatums. She gave me some, like one piece of advice she gave me was,
I would have
after
gave you
after after the whole June 15th incident, when I finally got my daughter back, she told me to not give her back to her mom. I don't agree with that. I'm not going to do with that. That's the type of advice that she gave.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
there's other people that agreed, like, you shouldn't give her back because you don't know when you're going to get her back. And I'm just not like that. To me, the answer
Yeah.
the answer to all of this isn't isn't doing the same thing that she's doing. That's not going to make anything better. I'm
And
not
that's
going to.
so true. And I'm so glad you said that because we always tell people you can't fight fire with fire.
That's it. Yeah.
Not in these, not when kids are involved.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, of course you want to. Who doesn't? Like, but that's very. You're right about that.
But I don't know if the reason why if you would have got the test, I would have said do it because now it's proven that that's your child.
Yeah.
But being that she's leaving the house where she go to where she's just not in school yet, but this is her resident, you could have fought that. It would have been a better look for you in court.
Yeah.
But for like every situation is different, so
Yeah, it's
it's not no one fits all.
yeah, one size fit all. It's kind of a catch-22. So
Yeah,
with me trying to hear what you said, your girlfriend said to what I think about it, I understand you,
Yeah.
and he understands her.
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's the kind of advice that she's given me. And then, of course, when I didn't do it, she got upset.
Yeah,
Um, she's there's some other stuff that's happened. Um, you know, some mail was delivered to my house for her. And my ex still has access to the mailbox, and she did return to sender on it, and that upset her because
yeah.
she felt like I didn't have her back, and it just
It's costing you too much.
it's
It's costing you too much.
it's honestly
That's bad.
it's put a really big rift in our relationship because we've been friends for a really long time before we ever decided to be involved together, and We never argued or fought like that as friends.
Would it be worth it to lose her over this?
To lose the new one?
Yeah.
No, no, I
Right.
don't want to lose her.
So
I
what?
care about
So
her
so
a lot.
what's your end all? Like what do you
Yeah.
want?
What's the next step? What you gonna do?
Um,
What's your goal for this? Like what do
I
you want to come out this situation?
I have as far as like, I'm not sure I understand.
I like everything. Like what? Like if
In
everything
the
was going
perfect
in a
world,
perfect world,
what
how
would
would
it be like
what
for
would
you?
it be?
You know, before all this
Minus
stuff,
the stuff you really thinking. We
yeah,
can't
but,
know that.
but before all this stuff really happened, I was open to the fact of trying to reconcile everything and work everything out and go to therapy and go to couples therapy and go to family therapy. I was for that. But um, throughout this whole relationship, she's put everything on me. It's my fault why it's not working. You've done this. It's your fault why we can't. Okay, so I'm not open to that anymore. Um, I do feel, I did agree to sell the house. We're gonna stay till through the holidays. One more holidays in the house that I bought. We're gonna celebrate the holidays. I'm gonna list the house June 1st. I'm sorry, January 1st. Um, and I'm hoping that I can, if I don't find another house, we can stay in an apartment for a year or 6 months. I can get me and my kids another house, and I would like my new girlfriend to eventually move in with us, and we can
Okay,
start our
so
life together.
all right. Okay. One last question, man. So of course y'all was having issues before, but so was it anything else besides the fact that you got a new girlfriend is when stuff started going crazy like that?
No, no, it was the moment I finally came out with everything, and it just, hey, I need to talk to you. I told her everything that was going on. I'm seeing this person. I've been seeing her for this long. When that happened, everything changed.
I don't because that's it's just to me it's I don't understand like why would she be doing all of this for that reason.
Yeah.
I know for sure she's hovering some over some feelings, some bitter feelings because of how you did it.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all should have broken up and split it up or whatever it was, but I don't even think that it was she would have still had the same feelings. So
Yeah, she
I
wanted the
agree.
house. Like
yeah,
I agree.
I,
that
I
that
agree.
house is the motive,
yeah, the house is definitely the motive.
And it
not the best
sucks.
interest
It
of the
sucks
baby.
too because we bought it. I bought it at a really good time, and it's only just appreciated in value. So, that's
Yeah.
that's to me that is the main motive in all this is that she knows what it's worth. She knows what we could get for it, and she wants half.
Mm.
She wants
Well,
half.
thank you, man. Thank you for sharing your story, man.
I
We gonna
appreciate you guys, man. I do
Thank you.
appreciate you
Yeah.
so
Thank
much
you
for
for coming
listening.
on. I
but
know.
make sure you do something, man. You gotta act fast,
Yeah,
and because like as you see, she already done shot, pulled the trigger. She already didn't put her dab in there first. So now you gotta react, man, and
yeah,
you gotta do it the right way, and that's the only way. That's the only way it's gonna work.
yep. I
Keep
agree.
us
Thank you so
posted.
much.
I know you reached out before.
I
Reach
will
out.
keep
Let
you
us
guys
know what
posted.
happens.
Thank
We
you
want to
guys.
know when you're back actively seeing your baby with no, restrictions. Because that's the goal, right? That's what we want for you and for everybody, and this is why we do this. So thank you for
Thank you so
sharing.
much. You guys have a
Thank you.
blessed night. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too,
You
man.
too
Thank
as
you so
well.
much.
Bye bye.
Okay, who we got next?
In their best interest. You ready?
All right,
Hello.
what's
Hey,
going
hey,
on,
how y'all
man?
doing? How y'all doing?
We
Appreciate
all
that.
good. We all good on this Friday.
Right, right, right.
Where
Uh,
you calling us from?
sunny Southern Ohio.
Fire.
Ohio.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. How
yeah.
many kids?
Um, I got five altogether. I have four biological, two girls altogether, three boys. The youngest three are all boys.
How many different baby mamas?
I got two baby mamas and one wife.
Okay.
So like
Um,
slaves.
So how many kids is being alienated?
Um, originally just one, which was my oldest daughter. With which was my first child. And
How old is she?
She's 16 now. She's 16. Since then, we have me and her mother have at least come to an agreement that it's best for my daughter for me to be in her life. I was actively involved while we were together. Even after we broke up, I was still there. She was with me about 5-6 days out the week. Her mom was in school, so I was the one picking her up, taking her to school. She spent the night with me. Anything she wanted to do at her friend's birthday, I was the one who was there. And as soon as her mom graduated, that power dynamic actually came into play.
Yeah. She
And it
ain't
was,
need me no more.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay. So you said it was originally.
So it's better now.
I mean, we don't talk still, but it's amicable. It's cordial. Like, hey.
So how long was the time frame that went by before while you was alienated from that child?
I'd say it started when she was probably about 6, which is when I first got with my son's mom, my two oldest boys' moms, which is who I'm actually dealing with this madness now. I first got with her, and I was a fool because I didn't really know how the game was played. So somebody told me, hey, before you can go for custody, you got to put yourself on child support. I wouldn't put myself on child support, and it was like, oh, you don't automatically get custody. You don't get shared custody automatically. You got to go back for that. So
wow.
I was, and it was one of them things, my son's mom, before, she was just like, I can't believe she's putting you through this. You're a great dad, because she had a daughter, and her daughter was like, her dad, if he did pick her up, he just dropped her off to the grandparents. She's like, oh, you're a great dad. If we had a kid, I'd never put you through this. I don't see how somebody would do that.
Until 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
So with the first baby mama, was it a situationship? Was y'all together?
Oh no, we was together. We were engaged. I proposed to her. We primarily broke up because just the way I'm a man.
He was a player.
No, not even that. No, I was 100% faithful to her. But I'm a man. I'm
so
a man.
What that I'm a man mean?
Well, I don't let people talk to me a certain way.
Okay, I
can
respect that.
If you're like you.
Like you're talking this way to me, woman. My best friends know not to talk to me this way. I handle people for the way you talking to them. I'm only gonna be too many BANs, PANs, FANs. I'm like, I
don't think no man can handle that.
And then it was just a lack of consideration on her part. I mean, I was probably immature at some parts that I don't know how. She could probably tell you a story, but it came to head. I proposed to her, in front of our child, in front of our newly purchased home. My baby had just been born. I proposed to her, and then like 3 weeks later, she's like, "You should re-propose with a bigger ring." And I'm like, "This ain't good enough."
That's a super red flag. I wish I had a red flag right now.
So I hung on for about another year or two, but it just got turmoil. We would be arguing every day, and it came to a head. I remember the day I left. I looked down. My daughter was in between us, like trying to push us apart. She's about 2 at this point, 3.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm not going to raise my kid in the household that I was raised in, with the parents fighting 24/7. So I called it quits. I was like, maybe we'll get back together, maybe we won't, and we didn't. So and I moved on. I did my thing. I wound up with my son's mom, and it was it was good. The first year my son Dash was born, and
so was that a situationship, relationship? What?
It started as a situationship. To one of them things like, I'll stick around till you ready. That's what she basically said. Till you ready to really move. Okay. And then, I'm like, okay, she's here for me. She was great with my daughter in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Her daughter and her got along, and we started a relationship. We started talking about long term, and as soon once my son was born, my daughter kind of started getting pushed to the back burner. You know what I'm saying? And I started noticing things like, your daughter wants to break us up. She's trying to break us up. I'm like, she's 4. She said she wants
what?
Yeah, she said she wants you and her mom. She wished you and her mom would get back together. I'm like, that's like what any 4-year-old.
I mean, all kids wish that.
And she held that against her. My daughter wound up being, getting the Cinderella treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like having to sleep, her daughter would mistreat her. She wouldn't let her in her room. My daughter had to sleep downstairs in the living room. I'm like, what? So I was like, okay, I quit bringing my daughter around there. But then it got to the point where, she also wouldn't let me get, we're together at this point. And I'm like, I can't have no alone time with my son. I can't just take him to a park by myself. She's like, well, why you want to do something by yourself? I'm like, that's what fathers and sons do. I should be able to he should be able to.
With your son.
Yeah.
It was starting right then and there. You just didn't know it.
I didn't know it, man. That went on, so I like broke up, and we were still like, we was basically sleeping together in the same house for the kid, and still trying to work ourselves out. Lo and behold, she got pregnant again. Well, I got her pregnant again. It's 50-50. I ain't gonna say she got pregnant. We got pregnant again.
Thank you for that.
And I'm,
accountability.
Oh yeah, I got to. I'm too old not to take it.
Well, now, why did you do that? That's the $1 million question. Everybody want to know out there. After you know you got these problems.
Be transparent. Like be 100% clear, because a lot of women will think, and I know you're married now, so we want to respect your wife as well, right?
Most definitely.
But just be clear, because women tend to think just because you did that a second time that you liked it, you wanted it was this and that, and it may not happen.
Because why would you get her pregnant again? You already said you ain't like her.
Yeah, I would. I was hoping. Yeah. I was hoping for the best. I try to, like, hey, maybe it's gonna work out. It'll work out. It'll possibly work out.
Was the second baby was planned?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it was I did ask you to be transparent. So
yeah, we were having unprotected sex, and it was like, if he does have, if we do get pregnant, okay, cool. The oldest boy we'll be cool to have. We had 2 little boys we could raise together.
You thought it was gonna make things better.
I'm an idiot, or at least I was at that point in time. So yeah, and it didn't. Like,
so wait, I have to ask you this question before we continue, because I almost forget. Like, who's the deadbeat?
Due to me being in court, I got 2 court trials, 2 court hearings next month. I can only just say I'm not the deadbeat. I'm not the deadbeat. You
have like 2?
Huh? Yeah.
Why? 2 separate kids?
No, on her. 2 contempt charges filed against me on 2 separate dates. And yeah, she's just at this point.
We'll get there.
Okay,
we'll get there.
Okay.
So,
all right. So now y'all together.
Baby number 2.
Yeah, baby. That's the baby mama. The second baby mama. Y'all got the baby number 2. Now what?
Well, before baby number 2 was even born, we was like, okay, and that's when I started. Yeah, we was real rocky, and that's when I started. I went to my class reunion that September, and I ran into my first girlfriend, and
oh my God,
who wound up being my wife. This is my wife now.
Okay, right. Yeah, no, so I know where we going with it. I'm just saying the set.
Yeah, and and we was all, but my God, like, all right.
At least you married her.
Yeah, I married her
together, right?
And it
was meant to be.
That's one thing. Like, we was meant to be. Like, the reason we broke up when we was kids was on some stupid stuff. But like, I can admit, like, my son's mom did not get the treatment that my daughter's mom got. As far as me being faithful, I was not. Mm-hmm. I was out here. I was really out here. I was getting flued out and everything. They was.
Damn, you was in these streets.
I was in it, bro. I was the streets, bro. Like, for real. I was out here wilding, and I think
that's why I wasn't working out. But that don't mean you're not a good father.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't working out, and I'm pretty sure my son's mom caught wind of that, and a lot of her disdain towards me stems from me being unfaithful. On that level. Yes. On that level,
you said she away for you though, right?
Well, this was after she said that before we got together. So she said, "I'll wait for you." We got together. We having kids, and it's like,
it's time. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, it was one of them things, man. And,
so you got with your girlfriend, old girlfriend, which is now your wife, and
well, I filed for my son was born, and my youngest son was born in 2019 in January. And my son, she still wouldn't let me just get him by myself, even though we ain't together. And I'm like, I'm calling her brother, like, hey, because me and him got a real good relationship. I'm like, man, your sister won't let me get the kid by myself. He's befuddled, like, this ain't how we raised. She said, I'm gonna call her and talk to her. And no talking ever came. And then I remember on my son's his birthday, she wouldn't send him out because I'm supposed to pick. She said, yeah, you can send him out. Now, mind you, when she did start letting me get him, he would come over to my house because she couldn't get him to sleep. Basically, my son he's a wild kid. At least he
This
was
the
back as a
second
baby.
baby, right? The youngest.
Well, my first son, he
Oh,
was
okay, the
wild. This
first.
was before, and then she finally let me get him. Thinks I'm gonna have all these troubles by myself, and I wouldn't. It would be just court. So she'd be like, okay, well, he ain't got no problem, having him by himself, and she wouldn't let me get him. And then one day, we talking, and she just like, we going at it. Like, look, I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to take him to this birthday party or what have you. And she said, no. She said, you ain't never gonna get your son by yourself.
Wait, so this before she got pregnant with the second baby?
No, this is after.
So why is she only giving you one and not both kids?
Well, the one was still breastfeeding. He's a baby, you know what I'm saying? And it was just older, like a birthday party for like
That's bullshit.
They always come with this.
You can pump breast milk and put it in the bottle. Now I know you don't.
And she
would. How old was he? Because we'll give her 3 months. Like, okay.
Oh no. He was about 3 or 4 months at that point in time.
Okay, so after that mark, she should have allowed you to take him as well.
I still couldn't, and he it hit the fan, man. She knew she was one of them people. She like most men, you push your button so much, you might spaz. And she said that to me, and then she hit record, and then boy, you got me over there spazzing out on her, cussing her out. And she used that, went down, put me on. I got a check. A letter from child support the next week. I'm on child support all of a sudden. I can't talk to my kids. I'm begging to talk to her. She won't let me see him, and it just steamrolled from there, And I went filed the first time in September of 2019. And as soon as she get wind of that, oh, now I can get the kids. I'm like, okay, well, we cool now. Maybe I ain't got to go to court. I don't want to involve my kids in court. And I think that's the mistake that most men make. Like the first gentleman was saying,
Definitely.
you don't want to involve the kids anymore. I mean, the court anymore. And I played. And then as soon as that date came and went, that we didn't go, boom, right back on the same stuff.
Wow.
This in the middle of COVID too. So I'm like, okay, now I'm really
so it really was easy to play with that because we know a lot of stuff stopped. And
stopped. Like I went and filed. Okay. In December, I'm like, nah, I'm filing. I filed in November. They set a date for December. They're like, oh, well, we got to push it back to January. Oh, no, we got to push it back to March. Oh, we can't. I ain't get my day in court until August. I get custody of the kids. My kids, hunky dory. We all fine. I drop them off. She say that he came home with a busted lip or something, which he didn't. We was at my uncle's house, who she loved. She loved my uncle. He was like, nah, nothing happened. But she kept me from my kids. First time she's ever found in contempt was due to this, And I just had to.
What was the contempt about? Did what exactly?
Well, she basically said he can't go. He can't go with you. And they ain't going with you. And I'm like, well, I was confused because I ain't have a lawyer at this point in time.
So how can let me stop you real. So how can she file a contempt? So
no. Due to her keeping me from the kids, I wouldn't file.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't file. Like this is when I started filing the motion to show cause.
So did you have an order already?
Yes, I had a standing order
for both kids.
Yep, for both kids.
Okay, and what year did you get that order?
I got that August of 2020. 2020.
Okay. Okay, and what were some of the steps? Did you have to take the paternity test or?
No, I didn't have to take no paternity test. It was just, just file. She fought it. I'm clearly tried to play like I'm a maniac. I was a pro fighter at one point in time. So she played that like, oh, he got the capacity to be violent. She played that card, and but the judge like, nah, standard orders granted. So I get my one day a week on Wednesday, and I get that.
So what was the percentage? Like 50-50 or?
Nope. In Ohio, they don't. In Ohio, the way they play it is you don't get shared custody unless the custodial parent agrees to it. The custodial parent has to agree to it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's the way it plays. Unless somebody's just really messing up.
What amount of time you had with your kids?
You say that one more time. I'm sorry.
What amount of time did you have with your kids after y'all went to court?
Wednesdays and every other weekend, and I got my holidays, so yeah, but
Well, that's pretty much almost like 50-50,
Yeah.
a lot of orders are standard that way. So I get it. Like even here in Texas, they don't use the term 50-50. They don't use the term it's joint conservatorship. So that's typically like how it goes. So I thought
it,
you were gonna say something more crazier than that, but okay.
Yeah.
well, I mean, to a guy like me, like a lot of men, I've done everything. I've chased all my dreams. I've crossed all the bucket lists. It took me a while to realize I don't want to do nothing but be a family man and be a dad.
Right. You want to be
So
with your kids,
So,
right?
so somebody like me, I can't call my kids. She wouldn't let me call them. Which is in the order. The open line of communication has to be respected. I can't call
And
my
she
kids,
probably be earshot of the conversation every time you do talk to
Listening to
her.
what
bruh.
y'all talking about.
I FaceTime them. She in the background acting like she cleaning up, sweeping and stuff, bruh. It's crazy. It is crazy. She right there in a little nightgown, like vacuuming and stuff, and I'm like, man,
Oh
Oh no,
man, not the
not
night,
that.
not the nightgown.
Not
yeah, and
that.
it's crazy, for that time period when I couldn't see my kids because we had to go back to court. COVID's still happening, so they pushing back the dates even
Oh
more.
yeah.
And so I'm going over there. I got pictures of me standing outside while my kid is in the house playing Dance Revolution or something. That's as close as I could get to my kids. I couldn't take them, even though I had. She's like, no, you can't take them to our court date. So I had to play, and then it just kept going. It just kept going.
Wow.
And I filed probably about 8 times, 8 separate occasions on for motion to show cause or motion,
Trying to enforce the order.
trying to force the order. That's all I want, and
Yeah.
So
she
you
would just be
finally
back.
got your court date. You finally got your enforcement, and then what?
It took about almost 4 years for me to finally get any
What?
type of change. Yeah. Well, no. I went to custody. I mean, when they said it again, after she first did it, she didn't just keep them from me again. She wouldn't do that, but she would miss holidays on purpose,
Yeah.
or it would be I still,
Little stuff here and there still
yeah,
happening, but trying to make it seem like, oh, it was because of this.
or I
Or
forgot,
yeah.
or I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? She
Mm-hmm.
showed, and it just snowballed into it happened. But majorly, the major change came when my son was in first grade. It would have been I think 2022. Um, you know, the where she was staying had mandatory construction. It was like public housing, and apparently they gave her an opportunity. You can either move, to the city where we're from, which is where she went and she actually got the public housing in like one of the best school districts in Ohio. So her daughter could go there. So my son's going to that school district. So she's like, you can either move back to where we're from or move, to a hotel temporarily. She chose to move to the hotel temporarily. And, and I believe that was because I was so active. I would go to my son's school because my standard order allows me to participate in anything he's doing. So I don't care if it's a Halloween party, Christmas party. I'm going
Exactly.
there to read
Right.
to the
You
kids in
there.
class, everything. I'm
Man, say
active.
that louder for them fathers in the back, because they don't be understanding.
Right. You need to be showing up,
Everything,
active.
everything. Judo practice, everything. I'm there watching. Like this allows me more time with my son. And he sees that, I actually care. Like I really care, son. I want to. We can meet your friends, your teachers, whoever. And so
Mm-hmm.
she withdrew him from school under the guise that she was going to start homeschooling. Mind you, I don't know what hotel
Wow.
they at. I don't know. I can't call them throughout the day. We meet at the police precinct and that's it. So it's really coming to a head at this point in time. And then February of that year, I went to go see my kids at their judo practice. Now, mind you, I won't get too much into that, but I go to see them. Only one of them's there, the younger one. I start approaching him. She runs, snatches his hand, and goes into the back. I'm thinking it's a back door. She's leaving the building. So I sat there for a little bit. They ain't come back. All right. I see his jacket right there. Well, I get him the next day. Grab the jacket, go to my car. I'm about to drive off. I do stand-up comedy. I'm about to go do some stand-up. As I'm pulling off, I just hear you dirty MF or something. Somebody yelling. And as I'm driving off, getting out the park, it's her running full speed behind me, screaming and cussing. So I'm like,
Like,
I almost slammed on the brakes, but I'm like, nah, she gonna hit the back of the car and say, so I just peel off. I peel off, and I told you, I'm like, Next day I get that's a Wednesday. I'm
Right.
getting the kids. I'm about to leave the house. I get a knock at the door. It's the sheriff's restraining order. She said I tried to hit her with the car
While she was behind it.
while she was behind it. So
interesting.
Yeah. So long story short, I'm able to find the detective. I tell her what happened. She's like, well, first of all, nobody who's guilty just goes out above and beyond to call the detective. So I'm like, can you find surveillance footage? She's like, that's what we're looking into. So I still can't get my kids. I got a restraining order. I got to go to court for all this. And then the prosecutor calls me the following. He's like, so did this happen? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, we're going to move forward filing charges on her for filing false reports. I'm like, so did anybody is there video involved? He's like, I believe so. Has the detective called you? He said, I'm like, no. So the detective called me. She like, look, I reviewed the video. We was able to get it from the church across the street. Won't he do it? The church across the street has the surveillance video, bro. Dude, I would be in jail right now. If
we can laugh at this stuff now. Don't think we laughing at your pain.
No.
Because we done been through it before, but it's just crazy. It's unbelievable, man.
If you know, you know. And we know. We know.
And she's like, look, I reviewed the video. She told us that you sped at her. She had to jump over the car like an action hero, to get out the way. She said, I didn't see any of that. I seen you peeling off and her chasing after your car like a crazy person.
Man, that's crazy.
And she's like, I was like, so will you be able to come to court, to testify? I'm like, I'll be there. She wound up pleading guilty to that, got, sent to anger management. She was facing like 180 days suspended, probation, all types of stuff. But in the meantime, I'm trying to file, like, look, this is the woman that I'm dealing with.
Hey, did you got that video?
Yep. Dude, I got all the videos, bro.
You gotta send it.
You gotta send us
I got
man.
all the videos.
You gotta send us that video.
That's unbelievable.
And there's the thing, like, so I'm trying to I'm like, look, I'm trying to get this change of custody because of what I'm going through. And then, lo and behold, I start reading like what's eligible for homeschooling, because she's supposedly homeschooling my kids since February. The new school year is starting. She's still homeschooling. So I'm like, I read the report. They okayed it in the school district where she was at. I'm like, y'all ain't supposed to okay none of this. She's supposed to show like some sort of documentation of what is being taught, assessments, like the workbooks that they're doing, everything. There's no list of this. How is she okay for this? And they're like, oh, well, they no longer have to show it this school year. I said, nah, that starts in October 3rd, homie. We're still in September. Y'all supposed to have this. So yeah, I was able to show all that to my lawyer. She was like, okay, I still can't guarantee you're gonna get them, but so that was we went to court. Let me see, the 28th, and then on October 5th, I was like, let me just call down there, and the lady's like, look, I can't tell you what happened or what, but you need to come get this paperwork now. She's like, I will put it off to the side for you. Just come on. You want to look at this, and I go and get it. She had to tell her. She's like, I just want to say congratulations. I'm like, I'll look at it. I had to look at it 3 times. I went to the car and cried because they granted me full custody, And
congratulations.
Yeah, so
congratulations.
It was one of those things, man. It's like I cried in the car. Called my wife. She's like, "You did it, baby." And mind you, I'm ready to give up. I was ready to give up because I'm like, after me facing these charges of all this, I'm like, I'm done. My wife was like, "Nah, you gonna keep fighting," because she was in a relationship. Her daughter,
That's what my wife told me.
Yeah, that's what they, bruh. Man, a good woman in your corner ain't nothing like it. Ain't like it, bro.
Yeah, because that was my next question to you. How was she?
How was that? Right.
How was she handling all of this?
Yeah, that's a lot.
When you, from a woman's perspective, especially if they already got a kid prior to the relationship, if their child's father isn't doing half of what you're attempting to do, that they see that, and she's like, and every time a woman hear my story, they're like, I can't believe she would just keep you from these kids. Like, I wish my kid's dad did half as much. I hear that so much every time I tell this story. Like, for me, I'm not a perfect man. But I don't believe this is what I learned from my dad, because my dad was in and out of my life. I'm a first generation American, so if African dads, like, he's here and there. And I realized you don't got to be perfect to be a good dad. You don't got to be perfect to be a great dad. You know what I'm saying? And that's I have my faults. I have my shortcomings. You know what I'm saying? But But my goal is not to pass that on to my kids. And the best way for me to do that is to be actively involved in their life.
Yes.
Exactly.
These
Yes.
generational
That's the
curses
father.
that you hear about. The only way you're going to be able to break them is if you're actively involved in their lives.
You gotta do something about
So
it.
what do you think her whole motive was behind all of this?
Just
Do you think once you got with your wife, that's
oh
you
yeah,
the fire?
oh that definitely did not help. That definitely, because I think at that point before that she was probably thinking he gonna come back, and I had moved on.
Trying to use your kids to
But
play that
but you
game.
said she was like already, pretty much alienating kids beforehand. So
Yep.
it's like she had the tendencies already, and I guess that just must have just
Yeah,
sent
because
her over.
she seen what my daughter's mom did, to the point where she's like, I hate her. I hate her for what she's doing.
And
But
turned around and did
she got the
worse.
blueprint from my daughter's mom. Well, mind you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little older, a little wise, a little more patient now. You know what I'm saying? And I know
Yeah.
this game, so okay, you ain't just gonna keep me from my kids. I will actually go and file for custody now. I'm gonna
Right.
actually fight this. Because the older we get, the better we get at being men. You know what I'm saying? I believe
Mhm.
Yeah.
you're supposed to, at least. That's come with maturity and learning from your faults, from your mistakes, from your shortcomings, from your losses. And I'm like, I'm not gonna let this happen again. And lo and behold, she couldn't stand my daughter's mom. They became best friends. She going over there, hanging out, telling
What?
stories like, oh, this and that. She using my daughter. Like, oh yeah, you were such a sweetheart. No,
Not the daughter that she mistreated.
exactly. My daughter, she
What?
just likes to. My daughter, she wants to be liked, so she kind of fell for it
Yeah,
until she's
kids,
like, you need to come to court and testify against your daddy. My daughter was like, no, like
I'm not.
no, and so it became, that's how far she was willing to go. You know what I'm saying? You've told me you hate this woman. You've mistreated my daughter, but you willing to go the extra mile to just get in their
To
good
get what she
graces.
want. To get
Exactly.
what she want.
And my daughter's mom went along with it for a while.
So what was her kid's father?
Which one?
You
My
said
my
she had how many kids
she
before?
my son's mom.
Yeah.
One
She
daughter.
yeah she her dad. Well, her dad wasn't really around. I was raising her while we was together. I'm the one taking her to cheerleading or gymnastics class or judo class,
I wondered
driving
did
her
she
to.
run him off?
But that's the more I hear about it, the more I think he did. But he was very irresponsible too. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
with her
Yeah.
antics, I mean, that didn't help the situation at all either.
Yeah. I mean, it don't matter. If you ain't there for those kids, there ain't nothing to really
So
talk about.
how long have you had custody?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
How long have you had
Um,
custody?
this is a year. This week. This is a full year. This week.
And what are the two
Man.
upcoming court dates?
I don't know. This summer. Trying not to say too much. My son's a victim of abuse. I mean, I've documented it over and over. And after
The oldest boy?
both of them, both my
Okay.
boys,
Okay.
from what they told me, from what they told therapists, from what they told police, what I'm saying, it's been an ongoing issue. And my thing is, I don't say how people are supposed to raise their kids. I don't like how you discipline your kids is how you discipline your kids. But me being older and where I'm at in life, if I can't talk to them and get through their head, beating them, I'm just beating them because I'm just scared they ain't gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? Or they gonna get each other in trouble. Because I was a parent who believed in whoopings. But then I realized, I hate with my daughter. I'm like, I'm really whooping her out of fear. It's fear. You know what I'm saying? If I can't talk to her, whooping ain't really gonna do nothing. It ain't gonna subside my fear. So I think that's where a lot of parents that mix of anger and fear. That's where that hitting comes in. Now my kids, I've never seen them do anything that warrants them getting smacked in the face with a shoe or beat with belts or anything. You know what I'm saying? But this is what happens, So I'm like, and there was more stuff happening, like, hey, say this, lie to the police, and say your dad did this. I'll get you a Nintendo Switch if you say, that type of stuff. So I'm like,
Oh yeah.
what? And I just kept it
So
from her.
the alienation is even still happening with you having full custody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's severe.
And then
So with the full custody, how much time does she get?
They reversed everything. The judge reversed everything. So, they reversed, she get the 1 day a week and on Wednesdays and every other weekend. They reversed the whole insurance thing, reversed child support. They reversed where the pickups happen. It used to happen in the city she lived in at the police department. It now happens at mine. You know, if you watch that video, you see she was mad about that. She's like, "Oh, he put this in the report." And no, the judge just reversed everything. You know, so the same standard, the same order is in place. It's just now I'm the
The
custodial
other
parent.
way, right? It's
Okay.
in your favor. So
So
that she violated it.
Well, I still
Other
can't call my.
than the abuse part, what is she like following the schedule? Is she?
She follows the schedule because she wants that time with the kids. So she's more actively involved. Like before I had custody, I was the one taking them to the sporting games and everything. Well, they would miss. Like my oldest son wrestles and he's good, but she wouldn't take him to none of the practices, and they're like, man, he could be better if he actually showed up. So now she's active. She's more involved. She's like, hey, this was soccer season. She did all the practices, make sure. So that's cool, but it's one of those things, man. I still can't talk to my kids when she has them on the weekends.
Isn't that in the order?
It is in the order. It is in the order. I'm supposed to. I don't know where they're staying because
isn't that in the order?
It is in the order.
She's supposed to let the courts know what she said.
Well,
it's a PO box. All the mail goes to a PO box. Nobody know. I don't know where she lives. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where my kids are staying. There was a storm last week and 2 weeks ago, and they stayed in the judo gym the whole weekend.
That's dangerous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were ordered, and you were talking about parallel parenting. We were ordered to use an app, the Family Wizard app. I cashed out $99. Matter of fact, I forgot to cancel it. They just charged me again. I had to call them. You know what I'm saying? Because she said I can't afford that. A year later, after we got the sign, a year later, she's saying I can't afford that.
Well, you talking parents, it's free, I think.
No. Well, he switched it because she said I can't. When I got custody that hearing, he was like, "Well, you can't afford." She's like, "If it comes to feeding my babies or having an app, I'm going to feed my babies." Like, okay, so he ordered us to use a free app called App Close. She don't be on there. She'd be like, "He don't give me no." I'm going because she's saying I didn't provide none of the soccer or baseball schedules. I'm like, you don't get on the app. You've never been on the app.
Bro, I'm gonna give you a little tip on that. Still
put it in there.
Put it in there.
Oh no. That's what I had because I had to go talk to my. I got assigned a public defender, and he was like, and he's like, so you got the app, and I showed him. He's like, that. So all the information is right there. I'm like, yeah. He's like, screenshot that, and I'm gonna take that to court.
Oh, okay. So she filed the contempt on you.
Yeah, because I kept them away from her. I kept them away from her on all summer, and because I tried to file again for supervised visitation.
Okay.
And we had to wait on the court date for that because it kept getting pushed back, and they didn't grant it to me. So now I'm facing all the contempt charges for not keeping them. But I'm like, if this is what I got to do to keep my kids safe, I'll take that chance.
How do you feel about it? Do you feel confident that you have enough evidence? Because they don't play about you violating that order if you can't really prove that the kids are in imminent danger. How do you feel about that? Because we would hate to see it.
He lost the that case already. He going for the
I lost that
now
one, and
for holding
they found me in contempt already. For the first couple. For the first couple.
It's pretty much like us, but the opposite.
Oh.
She's using the remote. So she filed for okay, he didn't let me see him in June. Now this time she's like, okay, well, he didn't let me see him in July. So we're going back for the second part of the summer where I've already been
was it a TRO that you filed?
Did you get that in place?
No.
So when you filed the TRO, and then that's what got denied because you ain't have enough evidence.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been there before.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
so did you go through CPS or whatever it's called?
CPS was supposed to come testify,
and they didn't do it.
He didn't even come that day. She didn't even come that day.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, we've been there, man. So how did that? I want to just tap into how did that make you feel in that moment?
When it was denied.
Yeah, but being the fact that something is going on with your kids, I know they made an outcry to you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You was at that point, it get denied, and then they have to go back with this person that they saying
it's
allegedly.
It's hurtful. It hurts, man. It hurts because they're asking me why we got to go back. They're asking me why. You know, it's tough to explain it to an 8-year-old, let alone a 5-year-old. That
Yeah,
this
you supposed to
person,
be the super. Dad is the superhero,
and I can't
and
do
then in
nothing
this
about it.
moment, you can't do nothing about
Bro,
it.
it broke my heart. Like they're sitting there crying. You know, like why? What if she hits us again? Like what like they're puzzled. Like, and that's the whole thing. Like, because of this process, they've been forced to mature a lot faster than a lot of kids, and I hate that stuff.
Very
I hate
sad.
that the fact that my kids' innocence has been disrupted
Ripped
because
from
of this
them.
madness.
Yes.
You know,
That's so true, man.
And it's just the beginning. You know, a lot of people don't know that. They think once you win custody, that's it. It's a
nope.
great win. No,
It's
no,
still a fight,
that's the beginning. It's the
Yeah,
beginning.
that's where I'm at. You know,
man. Yeah, we been there.
We definitely
We
been.
right where you at, actually.
uh,
But we definitely understand where you coming from with that, man. So I know you said you didn't want to dive into that situation, but which one made the outcry? The oldest?
the first time the abuse happened, my oldest told me that it was happening to my youngest. You know, because my youngest, um, he he was like tongue tied. You know what I'm saying? So you really couldn't make out what he said. You know, I pleaded with her to get him in speech therapy, which they eventually did. Um, but you know, he couldn't really talk for himself. So my oldest told me, like, look, this happened to him. I said, are you serious? Like, yeah, this happened to him. It happens all the time. You know, and that broke my heart. You know, and then the next time it was happening to him. My son's at the point in time he won't talk to nobody. You know, I'm like, bro, talk to the counselor, talk to the teacher. He was like, why? His whole man say, because because it started while he was still in custody. He would tell the therapist, you know, and the therapist, of course, had to discuss it with the mom. He's like, why? I'm gonna tell somebody. They gonna tell mom. Ain't nothing gonna happen. I'm gonna get beat some more. That's what
Right.
my
And
8-year-old's mentality
there's
was.
a therapist. She's a
Court
mandate
appointed
reporter, correct? So
mandated.
she's
Yep.
supposed to report that. Man,
They never do. They
that
drop the
system is
ball.
corrupt, man.
They drop the ball every time.
And she would report it. I got documentation where she reported, but CPS don't do nothing. CPS,
At
like,
all.
A
they
lot
don't
of
care
people
out
think
here
they
until the kid
hold
is
weight.
dead. Until the
They
kid is
hold no
dead,
weight.
you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Unalive, unalive.
Unalive.
Unalive. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Sorry, but yeah, and that's a
they're
sad
just a
thing.
third party agency. Like they don't hold weight. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So we back at the enforcement. So you got to go through the enforcement because you withheld the kids for the summer.
I mean, did the public defender tell you what the worst case scenario could possibly be?
No, but I'm pretty sure, like, worst case scenario, I'll go to jail for a couple days. You know, which I don't think they'll do that because, like, my kids
Your
need me.
reasoning.
Yeah, and believe me, like, she got sentenced. She was facing probably about, after it was all said and done, due to all the contempt charges that she dealt with, she was facing about 180 days. She never did a day. You know,
Yeah.
she never did a
Yeah.
day. You know, just accumulated
I
6 to
mean,
10 days.
I feel like you would be okay for the
Yeah, they
simple
made
fact
this.
that you have proof of why
Why
you
you
did
did
it,
it?
and
Yeah,
it was
that
for
can
the safety of the
substantiate it.
kid.
Yeah.
So, but if not, I mean,
Is it the same judge? Do you know?
Here's the thing. She is a well, I won't say nothing, but uh,
don't say nothing to jeopardize your
Right,
case.
yeah,
right.
yeah. I'm not sure if y'all familiar with sovereign citizenship, but she was able to, for somehow, take the judge, the magistrate, and somebody else to federal court. You know, behind all this, behind her losing the kids. Well, they all got removed due to a possible conflict of interest. So now I got a brand new magistrate. Last time I walked in there, I'm like, this
Oh
ain't the
no.
courtroom. Yeah, so it's a brand new magistrate.
What?
But yeah, so she pressed federal charges against the magistrate that they had their day in court like in January. I've been waiting on that, but yeah, she was able to, because she kept appealing the process trying to get him removed, and she couldn't get him removed. So now she took him to federal court.
But under what though? Because when you
Right.
appeal, it
What?
got to be something that they
What
didn't do
legal
legally.
standpoint did
Dude,
you?
if I showed the first appeal after she lost the kids, started off with her name, uh, a living, breathing woman, do not adhere to these. My property has been taken, right? like unlawfully blocked. It was sovereign citizen talk, you know. And I'm like,
I know a little bit about that stuff, but that stuff is a bit much for me. Like
yeah, it's an
it's a lot.
extremist organization. So
It's a lot. That's
Man.
a lot.
yeah,
But I mean, of course, a woman that wants control and loses all control is going to go to whatever measures they possibly can to have some type of control again, and that's what it's about. And so they become dangerous. They become unhinged, and so it's like it's a lot.
So do she got money? Cause it costs a lot to appeal.
bro, did you see
I,
that? You see that video I sent you?
no, I didn't see it. We gotta look at
The
that.
video y'all posted it.
Which one? You
The
gotta
one
refresh my memory. It's a million
it was
of them.
like 2 3 days ago about when I first got custody of my kids and she didn't want to. The police had to
Oh
come there.
Oh
yeah, with the
yeah.
cop standing
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
that's
You
me.
Okay.
look different now, man. You done lost some weight or something.
Like stress made me fat. So yeah, I'm a lot
Yeah,
healthier. I'm a
okay,
little healthier
yeah.
nowadays.
So
Yeah,
Man,
that's
did
who
you
we
see
dealing
did
with.
you see the comments?
yeah, yeah. My
If
wife
that's
is.
who we dealing with, man.
That's who we dealing with, bro. That's who we
Oh
dealing with.
man.
Yeah, that's who we dealing with. So it's one of them situations where I'm like, and I think I would love to just us amicably co-parent, but I don't think we can because when you're dealing with somebody who was used to a actual position of power so long, even with her daughter, you know, and now I've come along, um, I don't think she'll be able to come to terms with that, even as much as I would like. Hey, we
Yeah.
should co-parent. We ain't gonna barbecue together. I ain't gonna hang out with you. You ain't coming over to, have a glass of wine or nothing. But we could co-parent. You know what I'm saying? I would love for that to happen. But my
And
kids are better off with me. And
the key thing is she was alienating them. That's the real thing here.
yeah.
Anybody that is sick enough to alienate kids and that is stripped from them, oh baby, you in for a ride. You in for a ride, the
I
ride of
know.
your life.
Yeah.
It is not going to stop.
I
So
know it. I know
let's
it.
dive in the video real quick because I seen in the video that they was only handing you one son. So what was your other son?
Well, okay. And I got a video of that. That was Sunday. That Wednesday prior to that, because I had been calling around that weekend. I found out I had got custody. I was calling around trying to get like, look, I'm going over to her apartment with the police. I showed up to judo gym. Her little miscreants and rat faced friends are kind of like, you don't bring him today. He's here. The police is there with him,
Her
and
what friends?
her rat faced friends. Yeah,
I'm
but
used that one.
you should. But no, it's she has a network of enablers. Who enable
Yeah.
her to move in the.
Most alienators do.
Yeah, because
You know
they mass manipulators, man. They
They
manipulate
lie to
everybody.
whole
everybody. Yeah.
situation. Like that judo
Yeah.
Yeah.
gym, that was my judo gym. That's where I would go train people. You know what I'm saying? That's at the point. I don't even go back. They in her back pocket. So it's like, okay, I just stay away. But that Wednesday, I'm like, okay, she's gotta show up at least. And I show up, the police are there. And she's playing that game like, well, they don't want to go with you. They don't want to go with you. And then my oldest son's like, he walked off. Like, hey, I'm like, I tried to grab my youngest son. She grabbed his arm. She starts doing the tug of war. I'm looking at the cop like, can you do something? He's like, it's a civil matter. It's a civil matter. So I took my son into the car and I told him about the actual law that she's breaking. And that's when he was like, okay. His supervisor came and he's like, we're going to review this. I'm going to get back to you. So I just had my son in that small time. I got him home, got him safe, got him enrolled in school, got him signed up in all these sports, like in a span of a week. So, he's a different kid by the time she even goes back. But that following Friday, I show up because it's my weekend. We gonna play this. She don't know I got custody. At least bring me my kids because it's my weekend. She didn't show up. That Sunday, I get a call from the officer, the same officer. He's like, look, I reviewed it with the prosecutor. I'm going to see if she's going to show up, and so he called her. She said, yeah, I'll show up. But if he doesn't want to go with him, I'm not going to make him. So he told me that. He's like, well, I don't care what she says because it's not up to the kid. She's playing
That's
that.
right.
and she would play that role. Like if you see my sons, whenever they're around her, they're like acting scared of me because she's telling them,
Like robots.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh,
They
daddy's
get
gonna kill
under
you.
this
Yeah, daddy's
this
gonna kill you. Daddy's gonna hurt you. She told my oldest boy I was gonna beat him for getting his hair braided. So he's running around like I go to see him at a parent teacher open house. He's running around scared of me. I'm like, son, what's
So
wrong? He didn't tell
so
me till
let's
the
talk
next
about
time.
the asthma thing. She said she had asthma. Your sons had asthma, but then you took them to the doctor and
they don't.
They don't have asthma. She played this for so long because I really believe it's an issue with Munchausen by proxy.
Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah,
So
because my
tell
son.
people what that is, or do you want me to explain?
Uh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So Munchausen syndrome is typically when it happens mostly with women. Typically, when a mother will use their child to get attention, sympathy, empathy from people, like they'll say they're sick. A lot of times, if they are really sick, the mother is making them sick, and a lot of women have unalived their children who have Munchausen syndrome because they have either planned to do this to even get more sympathy. They'll continue to have kids, and each kid they'll do it with, or they'll go too far. They could be playing the game and they'll really, hurt them to the point that they unalive them. And so Munchausen syndrome is really one of those things, something kind of like parental alienation. It happens behind the scenes. A lot of people don't acknowledge it. They don't understand it because they believe the story. They automatically think this kid is sick. I don't know if people know about the story. I think it's the Lily Rose or
The Rose.
something.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, her mother said she had cancer. She got all her teeth pulled, a lot of things. And fast forward, if you want to do it, Google it. It's a national, international story all over the TV, but and all over the apps. She ended up unaliving her mother, her and her boyfriend, once she got of age, because of the trauma behind her with the Munchausen syndrome. Everything she stripped from this little girl, everything she did to her, she just stole her childhood basically and just kept her as a prisoner, making people believe she was sick. And she never had none of those ailments that her mom was talking about. And so that's Munchausen syndrome in a nutshell for you guys.
man, that's
And,
messed up,
bro,
man.
here's the thing. I've cured my kids of sensory issues, sensitive eyes, color blindness, sensitive ears, fear of basically everything from thunderstorms to random people, and asthma. This is everything I've cured my kids of since I've had them.
And can you prove that through like doctor appointment, anything medical
Just
papers?
only the asthma. Everything else was just like her making reports saying
Have you
they
ever
have
requested? Have you ever requested for her to go see somebody, talk to somebody, or
my last the last time when I filed for supervised visitation, I said supervised visitation, and I requested a mental health evaluation on her. I requested parenting classes. I requested anger management and basically job employability classes. I requested all that, man, because I want her to be a good mom. I want
Yes.
she like do better for your kid. Your kids deserve better than
Right. What
like
What is it gonna take? Because if it's really just about custody and a power struggle, then you really don't care about your kids. It's not about them. It's about you and what you want and how you want things to be and we already know, even with what they're going through, you are ruining them. You're ruining the chance that you could have to have a real relationship with these kids. It's a good thing that you have custody. This is a time that she should take to get herself together, to get her life together, and
it's
and
not.
be rebuild.
It's
so?
a time for her to just
Do
file
you
stuff.
think possibly that's probably why she never wanted you to get your sons because of this issue or what it's called?
Because of Munchausen syndrome, maybe. I mean, if she was
I
getting
think it was.
like a lot of
Yeah,
sympathy and empathy behind it, yeah, it fulfills them. They live for this. Like it feeds them.
yeah, it's
Like
definitely
So
played a
you,
role.
I know you just mentioned that you just want her to get herself together, but what is your ultimate uh
and
yeah
go.
your ultimate end goal with this whole situation? Like, what if it was a perfect world? How would that look for you?
My kids are perfectly happy, healthy, strong, intelligent uh, people in society. That's what I want. I want my kids to be happy. I want them to be healthy. I want them to be, you know, free of trauma. This generational curse of trauma within, not just black people, but everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it carries on. You know what I'm saying? It carries on generationally. Like, and I don't want them being forced under somebody's rule because she hates me more than she loves them, that they
Right.
wind up hating women.
Right.
The last thing I want them to be is like, this is how women are. It's too many people in our community, too many men in our community who are just basically detest women. Like we got to admit it. And I don't want my sons, I want them to love women, more than me. You know what I'm saying? Not just physically, but just the spirit of a woman, how beautiful it is. And they don't have that archetype right now from the woman who gave them life. Now they'd have they got a better one from my wife. You know what I'm saying? I hate to sound like a broken record. My wife fills that gap, like fills that gap of what
No,
they
you're
want.
not a broken record. Because on this platform, it's a safe space, and that's what it is. This is what it is for us, right? And a lot of people don't receive it. They don't believe it. They don't understand it. But it ain't for them to.
It's it's one of them things, man. I wish I wouldn't wish what I have to go through on anybody, but I look at it like, if anybody has to go through it, I'd rather it be me. I wouldn't wish it on somebody else. I'd rather it be me. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people like my friends used to look at me like, bro, you fighting the up. You ain't gonna win that. You ain't gonna win that battle, man. You are not going. You going to court again, bro? You ain't gonna
Yeah,
win that
we
battle.
we heard I heard the same thing. We heard the same things, man, and
And then got custody.
so it just don't sound realistic because a lot of men don't fight. But
Right.
man, look, I'm glad you said that because that's all you got to do is fight. He went off.
Probably some.
He probably got a call or something like that or
something
something.
like that. But yeah,
Yeah, man.
definitely got to fight. Y'all see the proof every time we bring anybody up that's saying that they won custody. Y'all see it, and so not even if it's not winning full custody, if you can take action to be active and be a part of your kid's life so that you can play that role and be that person that they need outside of whatever else is going on with them, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what this is about.
Exactly.
You gotta fight.
You got to, and it's my buddy put it to me because he was like, man, you a fighter, you understand it. It ain't just boom, it's over. It's rounds to it. You may lose a
What's
round.
that beeping sound? Is that in your background?
Yeah, that's my oven.
Yeah, that's your. What's that? Your
That's my oven.
your your oven. I was gonna
Yeah.
say put some batteries in that smoke detector.
Hold up, real
You
quick.
know
I'm
we
sorry.
ain't changing smoke detectors. The whole time my husband sitting up here thinking this out.
Hey, look,
No.
man. Hey, it be like that
I'm
sometimes.
texting Rich like, you turn the oven up. It ain't even our oven.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
but I try to tell everybody like who I come across, like, it's an ongoing fight. It's not a sprint.
Yes.
It's not one round. You gotta be prepared to lose.
Uphill.
Yeah,
Uphill battles.
appeal everything, and that's when they see an appeal and you can properly document them appeals. My magistrate used to
No,
look at
no,
me like,
I said uphill. Like it's a uphill
uphill.
battle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. It really is an uphill battle, and you got to be prepared for it not to work in your favor the first couple times. You got to be okay. You can't just give up. You know what I'm saying? No matter how many
Yep.
times. Like in the span of when I first started this, I've had to sit in that courtroom about almost 20 times. Almost 20 times. Just to make sure that my kids live the life that they deserve. And I tell people, like, when you go and you fight for your kids, you're not awarded custody. You rescue your children. You are rescuing your children from something that
Yes.
is unfit, from something that they should not have to go through. My kids, man, if you see my kids, you be like, they had to go through this? I'm like, yeah. These little kids, these cheerful little cherubs, you know what I'm saying? They rambunctious and bounce off the wall. They're energetic, they have some happy kids, and now I can let them be happy all the time without fear of, oh, we're making too much noise. It's time
Well,
to
most
get
of the
beat.
time, on your time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But not, not to take away from what you're saying, because that's actually it. And for us, it's crazy because we actually was fighting at the same time as you. This is when our journey started during COVID, and it took 5 years. And people think that this stuff is instantaneous. Maybe for some, we haven't met many, right? People that fight these long battles and win custody, they will tell you this stuff is not, it ain't for the weak, baby. It's not for the faint of heart. If
It,
you
it ain't.
if you want results like that, then you go to sleep. Maybe you'll get it in your
Yeah,
dreams.
because we actually made it. We actually made a year too, October 1st, right?
Yeah.
So
Congrats,
we actually made a year
congrats to y'all.
too.
Yeah.
But
Salute to y'all,
so who is your biggest supporter?
man. My biggest support is my wife. My wife, and I lucked up because I have a circle of some of my friends, what I'm saying, who go through the same thing, what I'm saying, single fathers, or on the other end, and we would meet up every Friday with our kids. They come over here, we could, because we wanted to create a tribe, what I'm saying, where our kids understand what men are, what I'm saying, what
Yeah.
you're supposed to do as men. We take them out on little trips, camping trips, fishing trips. Let's go do something. Let's go to the farm. Let's learn something as men, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that support system really helped, what I'm saying? Because bro, like, you lose that custody, you lose a battle, what I'm saying? It's like, damn, I'm down. You know what I'm saying? The people who really give a care about you, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be that close knit friends, those close knit friends who understand exactly what you're going through.
Yeah.
And then again, my wife. My wife, man, like, my wife had my back through all this, through all of it. Like, I had to, like, she seen me going through it before we got married. I turned to her one day, you ready for this? Because this is what it is. This is what you buying into. I had to, like, are you ready for this? Because this is what it is. And she's like, yeah, baby, we good. You got to go through it. We got to go through it. And she was there holding me up, man. I can't lie, man. Ain't nothing like a good woman, man. Like a good woman that got your back genuinely. You know what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't no vindictive thing. Like, I'm gonna take this woman's kids to prove I'm a better woman, and ha 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 in his face.
Yeah,
No, it's
and that was gonna be my next question. Like, what was some of the backlash she got? She was a pick me, and
oh, my wife has been threatened with bodily harm. Like 2 weeks ago, she got ran up on, like, while she was because the way
what?
that my son's mom made my kids react, they're uncomfortable when both of us are around. So if it's one of our time, they're just gonna go with the
Mhm.
person whose time it is, just go
Yeah.
the way time it is.
Uh-huh. Turn
So
into robots.
yeah, so they're walking off. My wife and my youngest son are walking off from soccer practice, and my wife is there. She's like, hey, come here, son, come here. And he's like, nah, mom, it's not your time today. It's not your time. It's not your time. She runs up, snatches my wife's arm, peels her fingers off her wrist, off my son's hand. You know,
What?
yeah. I mean, we went to
Please
court for
don't
this. She
tell me
tried to
that's what
she got
happened, man.
Man, what? Look, where your wife? I need to talk to your wife. Y'all, where y'all at? Ohio.
yeah, dang.
What?
Let me tell you
So
something.
did your wife file something?
Yes, she filed a temporary restraining order. She tried to press charges on her. They don't do nothing out here, man. She couldn't get it because she didn't have no video, and they said it's got to be 2 acts of aggression
Yeah,
before they can file it. I'm like, why are we gonna wait till this next one? My wife, she's like, she's ready to take drastic measures. Like, look, I'm not
I
gonna be getting
know.
ran up on no more. And I'm like, well, we can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's one of them
Oh
things. Like,
God.
so she's in the thick of it. You know what I'm saying?
This
She's like,
is this is so triggering for me. Just hearing what she has to go through. Like,
she's
look.
basically a bully. Like, my daughter's mom.
Man,
I
that's
mean, I'm sorry,
unbelievable.
my son's mom, she's a trained fighter. Like I said, I used to compete.
Oh my
I used to
God.
train. She even like, before when we started messing around, she weaseled her way into my class one. And like, she can throw down. You know what I'm saying? She ain't a little girl either. So I'm like, my wife ain't scared, but I'm like, I'm not gonna let it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not gonna let
Right.
it happen.
She don't have no reason and no beef with her. Leave
Right.
her out of
Why would
it.
you do that? Like,
You should be thanking her that she's taking care of your kids.
but she the
Exactly.
one that made it uncomfortable. This is why your son reacted like that.
Exactly. Exact. That's the whole thing, because if you didn't make them feel uncomfortable prior to the custody change, when both of us are around, you know, it wouldn't have went down like that. You know, my son would have been like, "Hey, okay, mom, I'm gonna see you tomorrow or whatever,"
And
because he
I
was getting
bet
them
you
the next day.
she bad mouthing her, saying bad things to the kids. That's not your mother. I'm
Oh,
your
she do.
mother.
She
I
asked him
cook
every week.
better.
Every week, do
What?
you call her
Don't
mom?
say her
Do you call her
name.
mom? Yeah. So
It's just, I listen. If don't nobody know, I know. I know. So kudos to her. Like, let her know we rocking and we praying. We standing behind y'all 1000%.
Yeah, man. And keep us posted, man, with everything, man. We
I will.
appreciate you.
I will. I appreciate y'all,
As
man. Y'all
soon
doing.
as you come up out your court date, let
I
us know
will.
the outcome because we rooting for y'all. Like,
Yeah.
we going through the same thing at the same damn time. And it's crazy because y'all dated in the past and then like double back. It's like similar to our love story. Like, it's crazy. But we really just
It's unbelievable.
it's unbelievable. It's too close. Like it's rare that we get a story that's
shit, I hope she'll, man. I hope she'll try to run up on her, man. I'm gonna be visiting the county jail and in the prison and stuff, man.
listen. We went for exchange because crazy thing about our story, it was interstate. So this
Oh,
is Atlanta and Georgia and Texas, Houston,
ooh,
Texas. So we boom
man.
boom. We this man would drive 12 hours to go get his kids, and we would come back empty handed. You talking about a long commute like that? He didn't take a break. He didn't pull over. I don't even think he drunk no Red Bulls. He
Damn.
never rolled up. I be telling him, baby, I'm gonna help you drive, and we'll get in the car, and I'll be
Yeah,
sleeping.
right.
We'll wake up in Atlanta. How we 12? What? One time we goes, and this is after similar with the CPS, and I ain't gonna be long winded because this ain't about us, but I just want to share this with you
Yeah.
because of what you've experienced. We get there, and this is after we lost the CPO after the abuse allegations, and she came to Texas and snatched them out of school, took them from us, right? We hadn't seen them in months. He go down there to try to exercise visitation because the order's still in place. The original order's still in place. She tells the police there, they not enforcing the order. It's Texas, it's different state there. They not doing anything. She tells them, oh, CPS said that his visits have to be supervised. And CPS said this and that. And CPS don't hold no weight over no court order, sweetheart. And if CPS said that, where is the proof? So the police knew she was bullshitting. So boom, make a long story short, they didn't do anything. We left empty-handed again. Do you know I sat in the car the entire time? Now, anybody that watch Who's the Deadbeat, anybody that know how we roll, they know I do not keep my mouth closed that long. I'm gonna say something. This day I said nothing. The only day I said nothing. This was over the weekend. Monday morning the sheriff was knocking on my door with an ex parte stalking order. This woman put an order on me all the way in Atlanta,
Wow.
Georgia, said I've been stalking her.
Yeah. It get wild out here. Like I just want. I think it's like a mental. Like
No, it's definitely a
because
mental
it's
illness.
it's 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 weird that all of these women is doing similar things,
And we say
and
this all the
they don't even
time.
know each other.
We say this stuff all the time. Like it's a
It's
disconnect with the real world, but to them they are connected. Like they will join and get a force together and be saying this stuff, and they'll be speaking a language that don't none of us understand. Like I literally believe that it's a mental illness with any woman that withholds their child from their father due to no reasons, no real safety reasons, no real reasons. Because you don't
Well,
like this man. So what? Why wouldn't you want your child to have the best possible
yeah.
happiness?
well, so I think
Why?
society.
He probably wasn't a good boyfriend, but that don't mean he's a bad
Bad
father.
dad, yeah. But
Yeah.
society has created a bluept for people to follow. You know what I'm saying? And the women to follow in those situations
Mm-hmm.
where, hey, if it don't work out, child support. And then if he ain't got child support, if ain't no custody order in place, I ain't got to give him the kids. And now he got to
Mm-hmm.
beg me. Now, if he really want to go, he got to go pay this $80 or how much it is, file, and then wait some more time. There's a blueprint in place where our society, American society, has allowed them to operate in this way. No matter
Yes.
what state it is, they can all do that same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's like
It's true.
something has to change. It was all put, that child support was put in place through Roosevelt because all the deadbeat dads leaving their kids. We're talking about 9, 10 centuries later. Why are we still operating under that guise, under that viewpoint? And we're
Because
still
they
operating.
capitalizing off of child support. We know it's a
They are.
business.
Woo-hoo.
And I feel so bad for all the people that reach out to us about child support. You know, that's not our lane because sometimes it actually will work in your favor to put yourself on child support or whatever, right? But the gist of it is we know that the family court system is not a good system that you want to be a part of.
They don't favor
So
me.
a lot of men just avoid it at all costs. And sometimes they walk away and they have been active dads and then they force them into being deadbeats.
Yes.
And so this is why we have to always ask, who's the deadbeat? Because what's really going on behind the scenes with this man that he's not being a part of this child's life? Is it really because he walked away? Or did you alienate this kid, try to ruin his life, put him through all these things to the point that he chose himself? That happens because they say a woman can do it. We was just talking about the other day. Rapper, who was it? Fat Joe.
Fat Joe.
He has a disabled son, and
Mhm.
at birth the mother walked away. Do you know they were defending her in the comments? Well, at least she made the decision to know that she couldn't take care of a kid, and she did the right thing by he didn't walk away and he took that his son and he's been caring for his son since day one. But let that have been the other way around. Oh, he's a deadbeat. He's an absent father. He's a good for nothing.
Disgusting.
She's single. Yeah. Give her these benefits. Give her that. Give her like it's crazy to me. But
Yeah.
this why we here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
thank you, man.
Thank you so
pleasure. Hey,
much.
look.
I didn't mean to cut you off. What you was
Oh
going
no,
to say?
I attribute it to what I call the fallopian sisterhood and their mentality, where basically, oh well, there's a standard across the board where all these dudes are deadbeats, and the woman can do no wrong. She's
no
not a deadbeat for
accountability.
walking out of her child's life just because he wasn't perfect. Oh no, it's something because oh man, just that the woman empowerment movement was necessary, but there's a point where it's it's become toxic,
Yes.
where these
yes.
women just feel they can do no wrong no matter what. They're gonna always give every woman the benefit of the doubt. I'm all for giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, but there has to be a limit to it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that don't sound too right. Instead of be like, so that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. I just I want to thank y'all because I randomly found y'all page one day and I was like, this is beautiful, because the fact that you all talk about parental alienation, it needs to be talked about more because it happens, and how detrimental it is to a children's psyche, and their well-being. That needs to be brought to the forefront, and y'all are doing that, man. So I commend y'all, applaud y'all, and I'm here to support y'all any way I can, man, because this needs to happen. There needs to be more networks of good fathers, fighting and for their kids and educating other fathers who need to be educated on what needs to happen. And y'all got a phenomenal platform, man. So
thank you
my
so
wife
much.
just found out about y'all.
To you.
Yeah,
Your
my wife just
family.
found out about
man.
y'all. She
Keep
loves
us
y'all.
posted.
It's man. We be needing to hear that, man, because you
know we're getting attacked from every angle.
You don't understand the hard work that we put in and day out. It's not about dollars. It's not about likes. This is our life. We really doing
It's about these kids,
and it's about these kids.
And they think it's so father focused to a fault, because this is what's happening. Like, how could you? This is the numbers. What are we supposed to do about that? Like, we know that this can happen to women. We know that all women ain't bitter. We know that all men ain't deadbeats. But at the end of the day, y'all want us to what? Be silenced? No, we did that when we had to fight for custody.
And we gonna give it to the raw. So how it comes.
And give all these men voices and all these alienated parents and children voices.
That's the problem. People don't see it in the raw or what be really going on behind the scenes. And that's our job. We giving it to you exactly how it is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of fathers, we don't talk about our situation. Oh man, she did this. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. It's don't nobody want to hear. You a man, deal with it.
Deal with it. Exactly.
But these women be playing these games behind the scenes and playing psychologically damaging these kids' mind to dislike their father behind the scenes and playing these games. And it's time for it to come to the light. That's the only way we're gonna raise awareness. It's the only way we can go over this this hurdle that we in.
And yes, we so grateful and humble because we not talking this just because we read the article or watched the movie. Like this is our lives. We lived it. We're living it.
Okay.
And so it's nothing nobody can tell us. It's nothing nobody can say to us when you look in them kids' faces and you see that hurt and pain. Like we don't hear that. We don't hear that noise y'all talking. Like, share, comment, and that's it. That's all you can do. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell somebody that tells somebody. That's the best you can do. Because trying to stop us, that's a waste of time.
Absolutely, because until the people that's not affected by it understand it,
it's gonna
keep happening. Keep happening.
Yep.
All right, but appreciate you, man.
Thank
you
you
have
so
a good
much,
night,
brother. You have a good night.
Too, man.
Keep
Take
us
it easy,
posted.
man.
And man, I want
send
that
video.
I want
I'm
that
gonna
video
sing.
because
I got
that is
videos.
crazy.
I'm gonna sing y'all some videos. Believe me.
That's crazy, man.
Send us some videos.
We'll do. Y'all take it easy, man. Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you. Good night.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So it's a wrap, man. For everybody that was out there viewing, if you want to tell your story, man, just catch us on Mondays
at 7 p.m. Central Time.
And Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time.
As always, subscribe. Like I said, like, share, comment. Let us know who need to tell their story because this we here for. We gonna take the time out to hear these stories, regardless. So that's all I have.
That's it. Who's the deadbeat?
Good night, y'all.